Meeting will please come to order. Good evening, everyone. Today is Thursday, November the 6th. I am Trippy Congo, President of Wilmington City Council, and on behalf of all of my colleagues, those who are here and also those who are virtual, we would like to thank you and welcome you to our meeting. We're going to have an opening prayer by Marielena Rivera.
Heavenly Father, we have assembled to handle the affairs of our city. As we do so, we ask for your guidance and understanding. We pray that our city reaches a place of peace and safety. Keep us out of harm's way and bless those who are in authority. Let respect be key in all our endeavors. Padre Celestial, nos hemos reunido para manejar los asuntos de nuestra ciudad. Al hacerlo, le pedimos su orientación y comprensión. Oramos para que nuestra ciudad alcance un lugar de paz y seguridad que nos mantenga fuera del peligro y bendecir a los que están en autoridad. Que el respeto sea clave en todos nuestros esfuerzos. Amén.
And now we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Owens?
Present.
Councilwoman Darby?
Present.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Present.
Councilwoman Harley?
Present.
Councilwoman Willauer?
Present.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Here.
Councilman Johnson?
Here.
Councilman Field?
Present.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Present.
Councilwoman Cabrera? Councilman Hackett?
Here.
Councilman Spadola?
Present.
President Congo?
Here.
12 present and 1 absent.
And now we will have the reading of the minutes from our previous meeting.
October 16, 2025, City Council met in regular session with remote participation on the above date at 6:34 p.m. President Ernest M. Congo II presiding. The opening prayer was done by Marielena Rivera.
Mr. President, I move that the minutes be accepted as written.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second that the minutes be accepted as written. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And now we will have our committee reports.
October 9th, 2025, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Community Development and Urban Planning Committee, met by anchor location and remote participation, to who was referred ordinance number 25-035, entitled An Ordinance to Amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to require City Council to approve the appointed board members of the Wilmington Neighborhood Conservancy Land Bank Corporation. Have given this ordinance careful review and recommend council vote on it at an upcoming council meeting. Respectfully submitted, those members of the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee. Those members present: Councilwoman Cabrera, Councilwoman Darby, Councilman Field, Councilwoman McCoy, Councilman Owens, Councilwoman Willauer, President Congo, absent with leave, Councilman Hackett.
I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second the report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
October 9th, 2025, we, your Community Development and Urban Planning Committee, met by anchor location and remote participation, to who was referred ordinance number 25-059, entitled An Ordinance to Approve the Anchorage Overlook Major Subdivision Plan and authorize the city to remove a segment of Anchorage Street from the official city map, improve a segment of Anchorage Street and name it Anchorage Street Extended, create a new street named Levi Lane, and accept the dedication of Anchorage Street Extended and Levi Lane as public rights-of-way and add them to the official city map. Have given this ordinance careful review and recommend council vote on it at an upcoming council meeting. Respectfully submitted, those members of the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee, those members present: Councilwoman Cabrera, Councilwoman Bracy, Councilman Fields, Councilwoman McCoy, Councilman Owens, Councilwoman Willauer, President Congo, and absent with leave, Councilman Hackett.
I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
October 13th, 2025, we, your Public Safety Committee, met by anchor location and remote participation, to who was referred ordinance number 25-034, entitled An Ordinance to Amend Chapter 36 of the City Code to prohibit resisting, impeding, or interfering with a city employee's official job duties. Have given this ordinance careful review and recommend council vote on it at an upcoming council meeting. Respectfully submitted, those members of the Public Safety Committee. Those members present, Councilwoman McCoy, Councilman Spadola, Councilwoman Bracy, Councilwoman Darby, Councilman Johnson, Councilwoman Oliver, and President Congo.
I move that the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Madam Clerk, just 1 second, please. If anyone wants to give public comment, if you haven't had an opportunity to sign up, you still have time to do so, about another 5 minutes. If you want to sign up for a public comment, either virtually or for those who are in council chambers. Thank you.
October 13th, 2025, we, your Public Safety Committee, met by anchor location and remote participation, to who was referred substitute number 1 to ordinance number 25-051, entitled An Ordinance to Amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to rename the Wilmington Community Police Accountability Board, the Wilmington Citizens Review Board, expand board eligibility, and increase compensation for board members. Have given this ordinance careful review and recommend council vote on it at an upcoming council meeting. Respectfully submitted, those members of the Public Safety Committee. Those members present, Councilwoman McCoy, Councilman Spadola, Councilwoman Bracy, Councilwoman Darby, Councilman Johnson, Councilwoman Oliver, and President Congo.
I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried.
October 13, 2025, we, your Public Safety Committee, met by anchor location and remote participation, to who was referred ordinance number 25-052, entitled An Ordinance to Authorize and Approve 2 one-year extensions of contract 26008 PD police clothing between the City of Wilmington and McDonald Uniforms Company, Inc. Have given this ordinance careful review and recommend council vote on it at an upcoming council meeting. Respectfully submitted, those members of the Public Safety Committee. Those members present, Councilwoman McCoy, Councilman Spadola, Councilwoman Bracy, Councilwoman Darby, Councilman Johnson, Councilwoman Oliver, President Congo.
I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
October 13th, 2025, we, your Public Safety Committee, met by anchor location and remote participation, to who was referred ordinance number 25-055, entitled An Ordinance to Amend Chapter 37 of the City Code to prohibit the parking of tow trucks on city streets. Have given this ordinance careful review and recommend council vote on it at an upcoming council meeting. Respectfully submitted, those members of the Public Safety Committee. Those members present, Councilwoman McCoy, Councilman Spadola, Councilwoman Bracy, Councilwoman Darby, Councilman Johnson, Councilwoman Oliver, and President Congo.
I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
October 20th, 2025, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Public Works and Transportation Committee, met by anchor location and remote participation, to who was referred ordinance number 25-056, entitled An Ordinance Amending Chapter 42 of the City Code regarding the paving of privately controlled, non-dedicated alleys. Have given this ordinance careful review and recommend council vote on it at an upcoming council meeting. Respectfully submitted, those members of the Public Works and Transportation Committee. Those members present, Councilwoman Oliver, Councilman Owens, Councilwoman Willauer, President Congo, Absent with leave, Councilman Field and Councilman Johnson.
I move this committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. The report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
October 22nd, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, we, your Health, Environmental, Aging, and Disabilities Committee, met by anchor location and remote participation, to who was referred ordinance number 25-062, entitled An Ordinance to Amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to repeal the defunct Wilmington Advisory Commission on Youth and their Families and to establish the Wilmington Youth Advisory Council under the auspices of City Council. Have given this ordinance careful review and recommend council vote on it at an upcoming council meeting. Respectfully submitted, those members of the Health, Environmental, Aging, and Disabilities Committee. Those members present: Councilman Owens, Councilwoman Willauer, Councilwoman Cabrera, Councilman Fields, Councilman Hackett, President Congo, absent with leave, Councilman Hackett.
I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. The report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. At this time, we will have our city treasurer's report.
November 6, 2025, total investments, $533,562,340.03. Total cash on hand, $16,435,457.86. Grand total, $549,997,797.89. Submitted, City Treasurer Dwayne Sims.
I move the treasurer report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. The treasurer's report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I will accept the motion to move to accept all non-legislative business.
So motion.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second to accept all non-legislative business. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Again, just a quick reminder for anyone who wants to give public comment virtually, there is a Google Form sign-up link in the chat. All public comment will take place after non-legislative business. We will give you an extra few minutes to sign up if you haven't yet. And that goes for those who are in council chambers. There's a sign-up form directly in front of you before the double doors. All right, we're going to move on to resolutions of recognition. Councilmember Bracy.
Would Director Barnes and her family and anyone that's here to support her come up front, please?
Make sure they slide on the other side.
We are here. This is a resolution from all of council. Council President Trippy Congo, Council Members Owens, Darby, Oliver, Harley, Willauer, McCoy, Johnson, Field, Bracy, Cabrera, Hackett, and Spadola. Whereas it is the sense of City Council to honor individuals, organizations, and milestones that demonstrate outstanding achievement and deserving of recognition and acknowledgement, Council recognizes Charlotte B. Barnes, Director of Human Resources for the City of Wilmington, on her retirement. And whereas Charlotte is a proud native of Newcastle, Delaware, and a resident of Wilmington since 1989. She has devoted her professional life to the service of the citizens of Wilmington through an extraordinary career with the city spanning over 3.5 decades. And whereas Ms. Barnes began her career with the city in 1988 and through dedication, professionalism, and exemplary leadership rose through a series of progressively responsible positions, ultimately serving as Director of Human Resources. She has since worked for 5 mayors, been named to 6 mayors, been named to 2 mayoral appointments, and served as Chief of Staff for 2 City Council presidents. She began her tenure working closely alongside the Honorable Theodore Blunt, who became a mentor and a father figure for her. Among staff, Charlotte always helped welcome the holiday season with her fresh-baked cookies. Although one of her favorite phrases was "never a dull moment," she took the changes in stride. And whereas Director of Human Resources, Ms. Barnes skillfully managed the full spectrum of human resource operations for more than 1,100 city employees. She has navigated numerous challenges over her tenure, including playing a pivotal role in supporting the men and women who keep our city operating throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas Director Barnes' commitment to continuous growth and service extended beyond city government, she has served as a board member and a secretary of the National Public Employers Labor Relations Association, and as a past president and board member of the Delaware Public Employers Labor Relations Association. She was named 2018 HR Person of the Year for Large Employers by the Delaware chapter of the Society for Human Resource Management, a testament to her outstanding contributions to the profession. And whereas she has held leadership roles in numerous community organizations, including the Macaulay Court Civic Association, the Downtown YMCA, and the Delta Outreach and Education Center, as well as serving as an ordained elder, treasurer, and finance chair of the Community Presbyterian Church. As past president of the Wilmington, Delaware alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, she earned the chapter recognition as Eastern Region Chapter of the Year, and she continues to serve with distinction as the Delaware State Coordinator for the Eastern Region of the sorority. And whereas Charlotte is the proud mother of one daughter, Brittany, who is carrying on her mother's legacy of public service as a sergeant with the Wilmington Police Department, currently assigned to the Office of Professional Standards. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Wilmington that this council is pleased to recognize Charlotte B. Barnes for more than 3 decades of steadfast service to the City of Wilmington. Job well done. Congratulations, Charlotte.
Good evening, Mr. President, honorable members of council, and all others assembled. Thank you for this recognition and for acknowledging my retirement. Let me begin by saying, to God be the glory for the things he has done. As I stand here this evening, closing out 37 years of service to this city, I am filled with gratitude. Gratitude for the journey, the highs, the lows, and the in-betweens. Though not a native Wilmingtonian, it has truly been the honor of my life to serve this community. Over the course of my career, I have worked during 6 different mayoral administrations. I have had the esteemed privilege of working in the executive branch and holding executive leadership roles in both the executive and legislative branches, which has allowed me to support the dedicated people who keep our city moving forward every day. I am especially humbled to have been appointed by 3 mayors, Mayor Williams, Perzicki, and Carney, to serve as the Director of Human Resources, and have had the trust of 2 council presidents, Ted Blunt and Norman Griffiths, to serve as their chief of staff for this legislative body. Those opportunities were not simply job titles, They were responsibilities that I carried with pride and respect. You should know that public service is not something I stumbled into. I am a third-generation public servant. It is in my blood. It is in my values. It is a part of who I am. My grandmother, who is no longer with us, but is the individual who has had the most profound impact on my life, was a public servant. She retired from the Delaware Psychiatric Center, having worked for the late Jane Mitchell, the first African-American nurse in the state of Delaware. I might also add that she was the union president, which is ironic considering my current role. My mother, seated to my left, retired after a distinguished career with the Division of Health and Social Services as a social worker. My stepmother, who's on my right, is a retired educator and a reading specialist from the Red Clay School District and the Department of Education for the state of Delaware. 3 of my 4 sisters are public servants. Although my sisters who are twins recently left the public sector employment, my other sister has recently joined the public sector after a career in the telecommunications industry. And my sisters are here with me tonight, except one did have to leave. You see, in my family, service is not what we do, service is who we are. I take great pride in knowing that the tradition continues through my daughter, who serves as a sergeant in the Office of Professional Standards of the Wilmington Police Department. To see her step forward in her own commitment to service is a source of pride and has been one of the greatest honors of my life. I might also add that my son-in-law-to-be has come along for the ride. He, too, is a public servant. I could not stand here and not acknowledge someone who is no longer with us, but played a pivotal role in me even working for the city of Wilmington. You see, it was the summer of 1988, and I had just graduated from Delaware State University. Go Hornets. When I had not landed a job in the time frame that he felt was appropriate, my father called one of his college friends, who at the time, Gary Foreman, was serving as a director of finance for the city, asking him were there any positions available. I might add that when I walked in tonight, I did not expect to see him here, but Gary Foreman is here, and he said, I brought you in, so I had to see you leave. Gary Foreman told him about 2 positions in the finance department, one that required experience and one did not. I applied for the position that did not. When I was extended the job offer, my father said, look, I opened the door, but you have to do the work. Don't embarrass me. Who knew that 37 years later I would still be doing the work? Well, Dad, I hope I did not embarrass you, but I also hope I made you proud. During my 37 years with the city, I've had the privilege of working with a dedicated group of professionals, some who became mentors, some who became friends, and all who taught me something. I am grateful for each of them. Some who have had long, dedicated careers to public service, and others who were newer to the city, bringing with them fresh perspectives and energy. Together, we have navigated challenges, celebrated milestones, and remained steadfast in our shared commitment to improving the lives of the residents we serve. While I'm retiring from my role, I am not retiring from caring about this city or believing in its potential. I lead with immense respect for those who continue the work, and I have no doubt that the seeds planted over these many years will continue to grow. I will carry these memories and relationships with me always. It has indeed been my honor to serve. Again, thank you for this recognition.
Everybody crying.
There will be some comments from some council members, but I think that Brittany wanted to say something because she mentioned earlier that she wants to say a few words. Brittany, did you want to say a few words?
Oh my gosh, look at that picture.
You good? Okay, all right.
Brittany did say a few words earlier.
Did she? Okay.
I think as I mentioned when I was in the mayor's office, she's the boss. I used to be the boss, but she's the boss. But she had words earlier.
Okay.
I'm just incredibly proud of her, incredibly proud that she will continue the legacy of service to the city of Wilmington, incredibly proud that my son-in-law, son-in-law, will be doing the same. They're both police officers. I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that. Everybody knows already, I just said that. But they didn't know he was. I told you she's the boss, right? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. The city will always have a special place in my heart. Thank you.
Hold on one second. Charlotte, Councilmember Oliver.
Oh, sure. Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to congratulate Charlotte on her 37 years. She's not just my sorority sister, she's my sister. We went to college together, we graduated together, we pledged together. She's always been a mentor to me and a very good friend. And she's always been honest when I'm trying to tell her stuff and, look, you got to hear that, no, I'm right. She's like, no, you're wrong. So I really appreciate your friendship and your honesty. I love you and congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Councilmember Hackett.
Well. I just want to say congratulations. You know, when I first got elected, you were the first department head to welcome me in and say, hey, listen, let's get coffee. And, you know, we had a great conversation. And I've been bugging you ever since. You know, I want to thank you so much. Even on things outside of council, you've been trying to help to make sure that, you know, I thrive as a young person in the city of Wilmington. And you've been pouring into me and your family as well. You know, your daughter was the first person to call and say, hey, listen, I got a couch for you. Come get it so that we could give it back to our community members and continue to do the work. So, you know, I've asked you several times, what is next? And I can only imagine that you're going to do some wonderful things. So I'm just happy that I was able to be a part of your journey. And hopefully I continue to be. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Harley.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say congratulations, first of all, to Director Barnes on her retirement. I want to thank you, Charlotte, for always demonstrating professionalism, your strong government business acumen, and for your strong leadership. I always knew that when you came forth with information that it never had to be questioned for the most part. And I'm definitely going to miss that professionalism that you always demonstrated. And again, congratulations, all the best, and please enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Owens.
Yes. Hi, Miss Charlotte. How are you? I just want to say congratulations and happy retirement. When I first met you, I was 5 years old, 25 years ago. I used to be back in the green room back there. But you've had an amazing career. Will have a lasting impact on this city. And this city should always be grateful for the work that you did, both on your city council side and on your mayor's side. So again, I just want to say happy retirement. I know this probably ain't the end of anything. I know you're going to go on, do some more volunteering and everything. But again, thank you for your service for this city, and just giving back and pouring your heart into this city.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember McCoy.
Thank you. Miss Charlotte, I just want to say thank you so much for the patience that you've shown me. I am one who asks a lot of questions, and you always made certain that you had an answer for me, and you gave me all the care that I needed to make certain that whatever needed to get done got done. And also, every time I seen you outside of the office, you were still the same shining, bright person that I saw in the office. So thank you for always being you. I said, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right, Charlotte, I also want to congratulate you and thank you for being one of my mentors ever since I got on council. It's just amazing the knowledge that you have of the city of Wilmington governing bodies. No disrespect to anyone else, but I don't think there's another person who knows the city of Wilmington the way that you do. And we're just fortunate to have you. We're fortunate that so many city council presidents and mayors just kept you with us. It's been a great ride, and it's amazing because every time you would do a presentation, every time I would have a question, like you always knew all the answers. You never had to go back and do your research. I remember just sitting there listening to you in meetings and just being like in amazement of the body of knowledge that you possess. So I'm not sure what you're doing next, but I know that you just need to enjoy yourself, enjoy your your family, your new son-in-law that Brittany doesn't want us to talk about. But we're definitely going to miss you, but kudos to you and everything that you have done for our city. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I think my mom wants to say something.
All right. All right, Mom.
Things are mine.
Yeah, I felt that I would be remiss if at least a family member didn't say something about her. Because you see one side, and we've seen another side. And we struggle as who the boss is. But ultimately, it's me. Ultimately, it's me. And they all came from me, so it's me. But Charlotte has always been one that strove to be successful, to be a leader. I'm talking about even when she's the third child, she wanted to be the first child. So she was always fighting to be the leader and a voice of reason. And I'm so proud of her now because I see what she's accomplished and I see what I've accomplished as a single parent. So I have 3 generations here and everybody's working, everybody's doing great. So I'm proud of her, but I'm also proud of my other girls also. Thank you.
Right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Councilwoman Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to have Kathleen Purcell come up from Calamar Nickel, and if it's anybody else from Calamar Nickel would like to come up with her, feel free. Melissa, you sure? Come on up. I'd like to say a few words about Kathleen before I read this resolution. Calamar Nickel's in the 3rd District, and I was very good friends with Peg Tide, who's no longer here. And she used to always talk about Calamar Nickel and Kathleen and all the work they did over there for the youth underserved in the city of Wilmington, and Kathleen. So one day she invited me over for lunch. Miss Purcell was there, and that's the end of the story. When we had the COVID money, I was able to help them out tremendously, and it was an honor for me to bring some kids from an underserved community who had never been on a ship, who had never experienced the Calamar Nickel and all the resources they had over there with the Underground Railroad and so many other things. So a lot of people be lunching or not paying attention to the Calamar Nickel, and they have a lot to offer. So with that being said, I'd like to have Ms. Purcell. Thank you. So this resolution is from Councilwoman Xanthi Albert. It's the Census City Council to honor individuals and organizations who have demonstrated outstanding achievement and deserving of recognition and acknowledgement. Catherine Purcell is one of such. Councilwoman Xanthi Albert extends a special appreciation to Catherine Purcell for her leadership, commitment, and her service to Calamar Nickel Foundation, KNF, in the city of Wilmington as she concludes her tenure as executive director. Whereas Catherine also has, known as Kathy, took the helm at KNF in 2010 after previously serving as a board trustee and facilitating and coordinating the inauguration of the Tall Ship Festival in 1999, as well as the event in 2020. As executive director, she has been a key figure in carrying out the mission of safeguarding the culture and maritime heritage in Delaware, in the Delaware Valley of the education and enrichment for all. Whereas, in addition to the crew and staff, Kathy has successfully guided more than 300 volunteers who kept the history of Calamar Nickel alive during the departure from the 11 ports they serve. Under Kathy's direction, K&F has always often overcome challenges, including the impact of COVID-19 pandemic and visitors, the assets experienced of the tall ship providing, and whereas outside of her professional work, Kathy has contributed her time and skills in numerous community skills organizations, ranging from supporting the annual fund campaign of the Home and School Association of Wilmington Friends School, co-developing the marketing plan for the Wilmington Renaissance Corporation, to the carrying of the Christchurch Green Show, and serving as a Girl Scouts leader. I'm not surprised. Now, whereas it be resolved from the council and the city of Wilmington that the council is pleased to recognize Ms. Catherine Purcell for her steadfast service and dedication to the city of Wilmington. We wish you all the best in this new chapter. Job well done.
President Congo and Councilwoman Oliver, thank you very, very much for this honor. I'm really humbled by your by this recognition, so thank you very much, and grateful. I'm grateful to all of you and to you for your support. And for your support and leadership, for coming and learning about the organization and then supporting it so completely. We do a lot for the city of Wilmington, and for our state and for our region, and I really stand here representing a tremendous board of trustees, represented tonight also by John Morton, who has served as our board chair, and also our treasurer, and Melissa Kenny, who has been on our board for many years as well, and our staff, represented by Jan Ross, who is our Director of Marketing and Public Relations, Mary Ball Morton, who has served on many of our volunteer committees, including our major fundraiser of the year, our gala, and then, of course, my husband, Mark Parcells, who has been the greatest supporter of all. So, but I thank you all very, very much for your support. You've helped us with our community programs that we deliver every year, that we have been able to do for free for the city residents and children and families, and also our education programs. Through support, we've been able to provide public school children the opportunity to come and participate in our programs for free as well. So without your support, we couldn't have done it. And so we have great things ahead in the future for things we're going to be doing on the 7th Street Peninsula. And we invite everybody, even though I won't be there, my successor, Sarah Kerspel, and the staff invite you, and the board invite you to come and check out all that's happening and will be happening. I think you'll be really impressed and pleased. So anyway, thank you for this really tremendous honor, and thank you for taking the time to do this tonight.
Other than I'm just very proud of my wife, and it's a great honor for her and for the organization. And thanks to the city of Wilmington for all you do for the Calamar Nickel and for all of us. So thank you.
Thank you. Additionally, in the way of other resolutions of recognition from all of council, we would like to recognize Salesianum School on their Brotherhood Day, 75th anniversary of desegregation. Councilwoman Cabrera would like to recognize the Housing Opportunities of Northern Delaware Incorporated for their 41st annual fair housing awards luncheon. Councilwoman Harley would like to recognize Bishop Dr. Andrew Williams. Coming from Councilwoman Oliver, she would also like to recognize the Medicare and Medicaid Act of 1965 on their 60-year anniversary. Clifford Benjamin Brown on his 95th birthday, and the Walnut Street YMCA on the 85th anniversary celebration gala. In the way of sympathy resolutions coming from Councilmember McCoy, a sympathy resolution for Arvon Jackson, and coming from Councilwoman Oliver, sympathy resolutions for Charles A. Hill Jr., Joseph L. Crumpler Jr., Anthony Vincent McCurdy Sr., Kermit Banhart, Jerome A. Brown Sr., and Elsmile Wharton. Coming from Councilman Owens, sympathy resolutions for Kendra Marie Smallwood and Marie Catherine Foreman. At this time, we will go into public comment. We do have around 30 public comment speakers this evening, so we're going to have to keep everyone on the strict 3-minute time frame. Once you have around 30 seconds left, I will give you a friendly reminder. But again, just to be fair to everyone who has signed up for public comment, please keep your public comments to 3 minutes. And again, I will give you a 30-second friendly reminder. And also, in the way of fairness, we're going to alternate between those who are in council chambers and those who will be speaking virtually. First, we have Deacon Earl E. Tate. And also, before you make your public comment, if you do live within the city of Wilmington, if you'd like to say which district you live in, you're more than welcome to, but it is not a requirement. But please introduce yourselves before you begin public comment. Thank you for joining us, Deacon Tate.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Deacon Earl E. Tate, who's never late because he don't want to lose his pair of roller skates. And I like to thank the mayor's senior ball. It was dynamite all the way. And I like to say, may it continue on through next year. But now we're getting down to the brass tacks. We need much more. We need much more than the stop signs on Second and Lincoln and in other areas because the people are still coming through like they're in such a hurry to get nowhere. We had to show them, hey, there's plenty of people and kids around here that want to live to see another day. So slow down and take it easy because we all want to live the life, don't you? And also I'd like to thank you everybody. But now it's time to get down to the brass tacks. The election is over, and it's time to join forces, come together, working as one, Congress, Senate, representatives, local politicians, members, and all. It's time for us to come together and work together as one to stop, to put a stop to the man that is trying to destroy what America really is. Because we want to have a future for our kids as well as for ourselves. But it's time to take action and take action now, because if we don't, the United States is going to be ruined. So like instead of having it ruined, save the United States and bring it up to par, not back, but bring it up to par. And I like to say, have a happy Veterans Day to all the veterans in here.
Thank you. At this time, I will accept a motion to extend public comment
So
past
motion.
7:30.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to extend public comment past 7:30. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Elaine Swift, are you in council chambers or are you virtual? Okay, Ms. Smith, may come forward. Thank you for joining us. Please remember to introduce yourself. Please be careful once you reach the podium. Watch your step.
I am Elaine Swift, a city resident who is here to support Councilmember Darby's resolution that urges the administration to prohibit municipal contracts with companies involved in immigration enforcement and deportation operations. I agree with Councilmember Darby that America is going down the wrong path and that it's up to us as a united people to take action and protect our neighbors and friends when the federal government threatens our liberties. I have a multiracial family with 2 daughters who are proud Latinas and Guatemalans. As you know, businesses such as Avelo Airlines are making money from the illegal detention of citizens and immigrants alike. I urge you to support the resolution tonight in keeping with the Wilmington City Council principles of fairness, equity, and respect for human rights.
Thank you. Next, virtually, we have Adam Whitney, Dean Whitney. Are you here? Okay, you're in council. Thank you for joining us. Please remember to introduce yourself. You have 3 minutes. Once you get to around 30 seconds left, I'll give you a friendly reminder.
Hello. I just want to thank
Excuse me, please introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah. I'm Adam Whitney. I want to thank those who co-sponsored this resolution yesterday. And, you know, we've been seeing really atrocious stuff, you know, going all over the news right now, just like a teacher pulled out from a kindergarten, you know, some really heinous stuff. And I think right now what we need to do is, and what we're doing here is showing each other that we're going to look after one another when people think they can do whatever they want, ignore any laws they want. So I just want to hope that the rest of you all will support this resolution, and thank those of you again who already co-sponsored.
Thank you. Maria Perez Monzon. I believe she is with us virtually. Maria Perez Monzon. Yes, Maria Perez Monzon, if you're still with us virtually, please raise your hand so that we can unmute your microphone.
My hand is raised.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for joining us.
My name is Maria Perez Monzon, and I'm a resident of Wilmington. Thank you for allowing me to give testimony tonight. I do want to thank Sinead Darby, sponsor, and Trippy Congo, co-sponsor, for this resolution to prohibit the city contracts with Avelo Airlines. Our state benefits from immigrant businesses, from their labors in construction, agriculture, food, meat processing, restaurants, lawn care, and child and elder care, just to name a few. Is it illegal for masked men without identification to grab men, women, and children while in the safety of their homes during a routine court appointment, while worshiping at church, or in their workplaces without due process, and then be transported by Avello Airlines. It should be illegal, and for many of us, it is illegal. I don't want the city to seek contracts with a corporation, with a corporate organization that participates in what I would name human trafficking. I personally will not fly Avello Airlines. We and the city need to stand in solidarity with our immigrant community. Please vote yes to prohibit city contracts with Avello Airlines. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, virtually, we have Sharito Kalbachi Matayek. Please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Thank you for joining us. Please remember to introduce yourself.
Thank you. I am Charito Calvachi Mateico, and I'm here to support the resolution proposed by Janet Darby because it's the proper thing to do in a climate of injustice nationwide, an administration promoting illegal detention of human beings that contribute to this nation, let alone Delaware. So this injustice affects real people. The stories of children trembling like leaves that a person was telling me when their mom was taken. Well, you know what this man had to do? He never was the father of the children, but he had to protect them, and he is feeding them and taking care of them. But the other aspect is when they grow up, I know that their mother were taken in a bellow fly. You know, we are always instructed that in case of emergency, a yellow mask will come down and you grab it. Their hands are tied. This is the type of aircraft that you know, we here in Delaware are allowing our taxes to be paid and make profit. That's unjust. You hold the power of the city, each one of you, and I'm here to ask you to please do the right thing. Stop this that I call predatory capitalism that makes money out of the suffering of innocent people, creating so much havoc. I see a lot of you are African descendants. This is plantation capitalism. It's a capitalism that doesn't bring freedom. This resolution is the opportunity that all of you have to stop it and reflect our desire, the desire of the people to do the just thing, no injustice. Thank you.
Thank you. Maria Alvarez, are you with us virtually or you're in council chambers?
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you. My name is Maria Alvarez. I'm with No Borders Delaware. I'm here to voice support for the resolution Councilmember Darby is sponsoring on behalf of the Delaware Stop Avello Coalition. I'm also here as a Mexican American to stand against these illegal detainments and here to bring hope to the communities of immigrants who live in Delaware. Let me start by saying it is the Wilmington City Council's duty to refuse business with companies actively facilitating unlawful detention. Human beings are being kidnapped off our streets. They're being stripped of their rights to due process and being trafficked with the help of companies such as Avello. It's up to the elected officials in our city to protect their most vulnerable and do their part. My indigenous and immigrant background makes me personally extremely concerned of what it would mean for the city council to turn a blind eye on what Avello is assisting in. So I'm respectfully asking you guys to do the right thing and support this resolution to show that injustice will not be tolerated by the city council. Thank you again, Councilwoman Darby and Trippy Congo, for being on the right side of history and standing with us during these difficult times. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have, please forgive me if I mispronounce your name, Meme Sabilis. Thank you for joining us, and please remember to introduce yourself. Please watch your step once you reach the podium.
Hi, I'm Mimi. I live in Wilmington. And we need to stop pretending that we don't know what's happening. Let's pretend that we are fully aware. Let's not pretend. We are fully aware. This is not business as usual. When someone is snatched in broad daylight, crying out for help, begging for their loved ones, while people are standing by watching powerless, someone's making money off that pain. And that someone is a Velo. They're the only commercial airline in the country with an ICE deportation contract. They're not innocent bystanders. They're partners in cruelty. They're the ones flying the deportation planes where people are shackled to their seats, flights that are tearing families apart while executives are cashing checks soaked in human suffering. And you know what Avello said when they were asked about it? Contract. Their $150 million federal contract was too good to pass up. Too good to pass up. As if the suffering of mothers, fathers, and children is just another line item on a balance sheet. That's who you're choosing to do business with. And if Wilmington decides to fund, advertise for, or fly with Avello, or companies like them, you're complicit too. Every ticket, every ad, every contract signed in this city with them tells us one thing. Yeah, we looked at the cruelty, we looked at the suffering, the illegal kidnapping, but we decided it was profitable. This resolution from Councilwoman Darby is not complicated. It's about accountability, it's about transparency. It simply says no more. No city contracts, no taxpayer funds, no public funds at all for companies that collaborate with ICE or any deportation operations. Not 1 cent, not one partnership, not one advertisement. We've heard excuses before from politicians, from various authorities, from agencies that say their hands are tied. It's not up to them. It's just business. It's not personal. Well, it is personal. It's personal for every child who watches their parent be snatched away, wondering if they're ever going to come home again. It's personal for every neighbor who sees an ICE group pull up to their building, scared, wondering if they're going to be next. It's personal for the people who are too scared to answer their doors right now because they don't know who's on the other side. And it's personal for people like me who have friends and family who I don't want to see targeted because of their names or their accents, and frankly, the color of their skin, because it's happening. How you act tonight tells us everything. If you choose to ignore this, if you keep flying Avello, if you contract with them, if you advertise for them, you're saying that Wilmington's values are for sale. That a little convenience
You have 30 seconds.
is worth more than a clear conscience. But you could choose differently. You could say, not here, not in Wilmington, not with our money. Stand with the people instead of the profiteers. Those cold, cash-drunk cowards who are trading in human misery and calling it business. Be brave. Do what's right when it costs something irreplaceable. Integrity is irreplaceable, transparency is irreplaceable, and a clear conscience is irreplaceable. You want to rebuild public trust? To restore the credibility of the city and the council? Well, credibility is not built on half-cocked promises, it is built with action. Add your name tonight on the side of credibility and show us that you even have a trace of it. Please pass this resolution. Prove to us that Wilmington's heart cannot be bought. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, virtually, we have Reed Fallers. Reed Fallers, virtually.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
You can barely hear him.
Reed Fallers,
He's on, but you can barely hear him.
WITN. Are you able to turn up Reed Fallers' microphone? Reed Fallers, if you can hear me, can you please turn up your microphone?
Yeah, sorry.
You have to turn it up a little bit more. We can hear you, but it's really hard to hear you. You still there? You still there, Reed Fallers?
Yeah, is this better?
Yes, that's much better. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Reed Fowlers. I'm in Newcastle, and I'm here to support Councilwoman Darby's resolution that urges the administration to not contract with Avelo Airlines or any company that contracts with ICE. ICE has been terrorizing local immigrant, Black and brown communities, disrupting their way of life, and it is the duty of the Wilmington City Council to protect these communities and not cooperate with businesses that are choosing to assist ICE. And as a Delaware resident, I do not want my tax dollars assisting Avelo in terrorizing my friends and my family. This resolution would show that Wilmington stands with these communities, and I would hope it would encourage other cities in Delaware and across the country to do the same thing. After learning about Avelo's cooperation with ICE, I've decided to boycott them, and I encourage others to as well. I asked Wilmington City Council to sponsor Councilwoman Darby's resolution to fight against the immoral and unlawful arrest and deportation of local communities. And shout out to Noah Bello. You can find them at defendandrecruit.org. They're great. Join them. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next in council chambers, we have John Mateko. Thank you for joining us, and please remember to introduce yourself.
Thank you.
Yes, it's on.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is John Mateko. I'm a resident of Newcastle County. I've come here tonight. I'm a business person. I'm an architect. This association of this airline, which is a welcome addition to the city's general area around us and the county, but it has turned into really a very unfortunate and unwelcome publicity for the city, for the county, certainly for the airline and the airport. That might not have been foreseeable 9, 10 months ago. But if you just, anyone looking at the election results of 2 nights ago, you see where this has already gotten us in just 9 months, and we have a few years ahead of us. It is very, very damaging to this whole area, for businesses, for people who want to live here. It is appalling. It's internationally become something outrageous. Just last week, a woman who was nursing an infant had the infant separated from her. Just think of that. This is an appalling situation. It is not favorable as a business situation or morally. But much has been said of that. Tonight, you should really think of the business implications of this for this whole area. And what you may be able to do by this resolution, you have to look at the contract, but you may be able to provide a force majeure escape clause for everyone who signed into that contract to get out of it. I don't think any business person would want to be associated with this situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, virtually, we have Artie Latin. Okay, you with us in council chambers. Thank you for joining us. And please remember to introduce yourself. You have 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Ari Latin. I'm born and raised in Wilmington, and currently I live in District 5.
Thank you.
I'm here to support Council Member Darby's resolution, which urges the administration to prohibit municipal contracts with companies involved in immigration enforcement and deportation operations. I've heard stories from friends and acquaintances about their loved ones being aggressively snatched off the streets and transported to different states or different countries with no contact, no letter, no phone call, and no update on their situation. Some have been fortunate enough to be able to track them, but most of them, nothing. If I was put in that situation, I could not imagine what I would do if my wife or my family or my friends got abducted, and I could not contact or locate them. It is unconscionable for any person, government, or business to not only facilitate, but financially gain from the unlawful and abhorrent detainment, deportation, and suffering of individuals simply targeted because of the color of their skin. We need to send an example to the people of Wilmington and Delaware that we will not tolerate and welcome this type of behavior. Governor Meyer has already signed 4 bills, such as HB 1282, preventing law enforcement from entering into agreements with the DHS. He's also stated that he would personally boycott a villa. I'm here today with fellow Wilmingtonians to ask that you support and pass this resolution so that we can stop this collaboration in its tracks. Thank you, and please, all council members, vote yes to this resolution.
Thank you. Next in council chambers, we have Marisol Gutierrez. And thank you for joining us, and please remember to introduce yourself. Sure.
Mi nombre es Marisol Gutiérrez. Yo vengo a apoyar que se apruebe la resolución propuesta por la consejera Shane DARBY, ya que ninguna corporación debe hacer dinero del sufrimiento de latinos detenidos ilegalmente.
My name is Marisol Gutierrez. I come here to support that you all approve the resolution proposed for Councilwoman Jeanette Darby, because any corporation should make money out of the suffering of Latinx people detained illegally.
Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you. Next, virtually, we have Carly Sitzman. You here? Okay. You may come forward. Thank you for joining us.
My name is Carly Sitzman. I'm a resident of Wilmington, living in District 5. I am here to show my support for the resolution introduced by Council Member Darby that would prohibit municipal contracts with Avelo Airlines or any organization collaborating with ICE. We've seen much in the news about how ICE is illegally snatching hardworking mothers and fathers off the streets, separating them from their families, and tearing communities apart. And they're doing all of this without a warrant, without due process, without even just cause, blatantly violating human rights and our Constitution. So facilitating ICE's actions or collaborating with them or in any way or even providing funding puts all of us at risk. Because when we let them prey on the most vulnerable in our communities, and when we let them tear apart our communities in this way, we are all at risk. Refusing to enter into any contracts with entities that collaborate with ICE would protect our community and show that we will not. There's no place for human rights violations in the great city of Wilmington. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you. Next in council chambers, we have Charito. First name Charito. Okay, all right, thank you. Jean Camburn. Thank you for joining us, and please remember to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Jean Kambara. I'm an educator, a child of immigrants, and I'm also a member of No Borders Delaware. I am here in support of Councilmember Darby's resolution. I'd like to thank Councilmember Darby and all co-sponsors. I know everyone here is tired, but we'll stop showing up. So many of us with our long speeches once we trust y'all to do the right thing. So America was supposed to learn many times over that humans are not illegal for existing. Inhuman incarceration is a shameful repeat of Japanese incarceration camps, who were once the farming force of this country. We are repeating a very tired narrative. As I said in my opening, I'm an educator, and I'm here to tell you our students are very scared. And some have already had their visas come under attack. Conversations are being had on campus about what to do and also what is being done. We all know this issue will be ongoing for years. It's not a simple fix that's going to go away. This resolution would be a good start. It would show that Delaware is a safe place to learn and grow. And so I ask you all to pass this resolution and to act with integrity so that I can tell my students that Delaware is a safe place for them to learn and it is safe for immigrants. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next virtually we have, I believe we may have already spoken, John Miateko. Okay. Dr. Robert Bonson, virtually.
Yes. Hello and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Rob Bonson. I'm a psychiatrist. I work in Wilmington. I am voicing my support for the resolution regarding Avelo Airlines, and I recognize the bravery of every council person willing to vote yes. Delaware is a state of neighbors. We lift each other up and we take care of our own. This includes our vibrant immigrant community. The immigrant community in Delaware comprises 15.1% of Delaware's labor force. There are 6,915 entrepreneurs in our immigrant community and 54,655 eligible voters. Delaware's immigrant communities contribute to the vibrancy of Wilmington, and it is necessary that we stand together to protect them. No Delawarean should live in fear of being kidnapped, ripped away from their family, and flown on an unsafe airplane in handcuffs to an undisclosed location with no due process or legal counsel. We should never allow our taxpayer money to benefit a business that would facilitate such a barbaric act. I urge the council to vote yes on this resolution. Send a strong message that cooperation with ICE is incompatible with the Delaware way. Make it so others think twice before taking blood money to destroy the lives of our neighbors and have us all living in fear. Anything less is either wanton disregard for human decency or intentional acceptance of the coming darkness of authoritarianism and fascism. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next in council chambers, we have, I believe it's Jane McNicholas. Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining us, and please remember to introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Jane McNicholas. I appreciate having the opportunity to address the chamber here. I'm here to support Councilmember Darby's resolution, which urges the administration to prohibit municipal contracts with companies involved in immigration enforcement and deportation. I'm asking that we protect our neighbors by steering clear of companies that are helping carry out unlawful acts against people in our city. I'm asking that we protect our city employees from the potential chaos of being in proximity of federal immigration actions. I ask that we protect our law enforcement officers from getting caught up in the conflicts that are sure to arise from association with the unlawful deportations. I ask that we protect our city of Wilmington from getting caught up in the lawsuits that are sure to follow Avalo and any companies tied to these unlawful deportations. I visited Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania a few months back. This is the home of Mount Shannon, the largest ICE holding facility in Pennsylvania. I spent a few days there, and it came to my attention that many of the residents in that area are not even aware that that very large detainment facility is there. They don't know it's in their own town. That is how secretive much of what is going on, how it's carried out. It's very secretive. And if the city of Wilmington gets tied into this kind of secretivity, it's going to be very problematic on a lot of levels. On a lot of levels. This is a chance for Delawareans to come together to help our neighbors, help law enforcement, and help the city stop Avalo's cruelty and stop the cruelty of any companies that are cooperating with all this ICE craziness.
You have 30 seconds.
Please vote yes to prohibit city contracts with companies involved in immigration deportations. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Virtually, we have last name Remedio. Not sure if it's Jean or Jean.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
thank you
correct.
we can hear you. Thank you for joining us, and please introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Jean Remedio. My husband and I have been residents and homeowners in the second district for 50 years now, which just amazes me. And all the other speakers have been so eloquent. It seems like further comment is hardly needed, but I will just concentrate on some additional areas that haven't been directly addressed yet. At the beginning, ICE was supposed to be rounding up those who were in the country illegally, who were portrayed as violent criminals, drug dealers, the worst of the worst. There was a whole lot of fear that was generated about the possibility of lack of dangers coming from immigrants. And while everyone would prefer not to have violent criminals in their midst, this was not typical of most immigrants. It was a blatant lie used to demonize all immigrants. ICE has shown that they have no regard for due process, for civil liberties, or even basic human decency. They're masked. They grab people indiscriminately off the streets, non-citizens and citizens alike, and then proceed to detain them under terrible conditions. This is really not acceptable. The current administration is getting ever more blatant about their embrace of fascist and Nazi ideology. So we need to take every chance we can to resist that. This resolution would be a good step towards that. In addition, everyone should be able to speak to their friends, their neighbors, their coworkers to let them know what's going on, because it's in this attention economy, it's hard to get people's attention, and sometimes hard to get people to recognize things that are as ugly as this current situation. But we all need to participate. Also, I would say that beyond urging our governmental leaders not to reward people or companies like Avello from prospering on the blood money of transporting prisoners. We also need to be aware as consumers. After people ditch their Disney Plus subscriptions, Jimmy Kimmel's put back in the air. You need to hit them where it hurts, in their pockets, because they have no hearts. So please be aware as consumers. Do as much as you can to resist. Thank you.
Thank you. Next in council chambers. Again, please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Agumbo. Last name is maybe OCMPO. Oh, sorry. Lo siento.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Ingrid Ocampo. Solicito encarecidamente que se apruebe la resolución que no permitirá contratos municipales con las empresas que participan con ICE, debido a que es terrible el sufrimiento que viven día a día nuestras comunidades inmigrantes. No podemos ser partícipes ni cómplices de esta atrocidad que destruye familias y vidas de seres humanos. Y también tenemos que considerar que los inmigrantes realizan una importante contribución económica a Wilmington y al estado de Delaware al participar activamente en la fuerza laboral, pagar miles y millones de impuestos en dólares y generar un poder adquisitivo considerable y crear empresas.
Good evening. I am Ingrid Ocampo. I respectfully request from all of you to approve the resolution that will not allow that the city will have contract with companies that are participating in these deadly actions of ICE, because it's terrible, the suffering that the people experience day to day, and it's affecting our communities of immigrants. We cannot be participants. We cannot be accomplices of this atrocity that is destroying families and lives of human beings. We also need to consider that immigrants, they realize an important contribution at the economy in Wilmington, in all the state of Delaware, because they actively participate in the labor force. They paid hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes. They generate power, economic power, and they also, not only with consumption, but also they create enterprises. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, virtually, we have Brandon Fletcher.
Good evening, council members. My name is Brandon, and I want to thank Councilmember Congo, Sinead Darby, Owens, and Will Auer for co-sponsoring this resolution. I also urge the rest of City Council to vote yes on the resolution to stop Wilmington from contracting with companies that profit from deportation, including Avelo Airlines. Public funds should never support cruelty or the separation of families, and these deportation flights violate basic human rights and I think go against the city's values of fairness, dignity, and inclusion for all. It was confirmed today that a federal immigrant agent injured someone in Sussex County, and it's really unusual and concerning. And these incidents highlight the real immediate impact of immigration enforcement in our community. While this resolution is an important step, I urge the city to move towards sanctuary policies that are codified, not just a resolution, where Wilmington police are barred from interacting with ICE or other federal agents. Passing this resolution and taking steps towards sanctuary status shows that Wilmington stands for justice, compassion, and safety for all residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, virtually, we have Lourdes Rivera.
Yes. Hello? Can you hear me good?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yes. Good evening, President, everyone in Council. My name is Lourdes Rivera. I live on the 50th Street. And briefly have many concerns tonight, in which that's why I support Sinead Darby and all of those that sponsor this resolution on immigration. To me, they have the same right as me, as long as they do not commit any wrongdoing or any crime. I believe in justice for all. I'm against injustice, separating family from their family and causes so much pain. And I urge that you tonight consider to pass this resolution. Secondly, and very briefly, that's not in the agenda, but I'm bringing it up. Second, I have another concern. Right now, have some trouble in communicating with 311. The lack of communication we have to reach some of the department. When you call, yes, they do answer, but unfortunately, you get transferred to that voicemail and not being able to reach them at all. The excuse is that I'm sorry, I didn't get your message. Right now, I'm having so much trouble reaching out to some of these departments. When you place a complaint for vacant houses, landlords do not come to take care of this property, and the backyard is a mess. I just would like that someone would look into this matter. Now they're going to give the excuse that winter is around the corner. So always as an excuse. I feel like that they like it that way. They like 311 this way. So they don't have to deal with any concern we may have as a community. Please, fix 311 and their full excuse voicemail. Thank you for your time and have a good evening. Lourdes Rivera, 5th District.
Gracias. Next, we have Carmina Taylor. Carmina Taylor. All right, thank you. Thank you for joining us. And please remember to introduce yourself.
So good evening. I really apologize. I've been trying to come here for months, and this is the first time. My name is Carmina Taylor. For the last 5 years, well, I want to apologize because all of the issues that you brought up today are so relevant, but this is something that I've been doing in the community for years, and it's not about immigration, so I apologize, and I don't want to be disrespectful. But I've come here tonight because I know that there are new city council members that are young, and I want to share with you, and the ones that you guys have seen me before, you have a crisis with your young people in Wilmington. There is a serious normalization of cannabis use, marijuana use. And I came tonight because I was a part of a SAMHSA webinar in September, and I want to share some national statistics, and I want to share some anecdotal experiences that I've had with your youth in Wilmington. Bottom line, there is now a serious crisis in our country where young people are engaging in high-potency THC, which creates a cannabis-infused psychosis, which leads to cannabis use disorder. When this webinar was going on in September, the month before, there were 44 million Americans 12 years old and up that used marijuana in the past month. Cannabis hospitalizations across all ages have exceeded opioid use. Your young people in Wilmington are smoking, ingesting, eating 60 times the legal limit that Canada uses for recreational use. And I think that we just need to, when I think about what you're happening with Avello, but I'm thinking about what you can do to help your residents of the city of Wilmington, is we have to educate adults, we have to educate parents about what these young people are doing, because it is changing the trajectory of their mind, their spirit, and we have to do something about it. So I do want to end on a positive note that you have some community organizations and you have groups of fathers and men in the community that are really trying to help these young people. And I just would hope that the city council, and I think I've asked twice now, that we have a community conversation, that we have, that you guys host with me and some other community leaders, a conversation about the realization of what high potency THC is doing. I know that you recently legalized recreational use in the state, but I want to share one thing that I learned when I went to Colorado about high potency THC. After 13 years of legalization of cannabis in Colorado, the #1 cause of death in teens and young adults is suicide by cannabis-infused psychosis. And for every dollar of profit that is gained, $2 is spent on treatment. And so when we look at small wins of what we can do, we can help our young people and educate adults. So I thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. Next, we have Amber Patty, virtually.
Good evening.
Hello, yes, we can hear you. Thank you for joining us. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Amber Patty, and I'm here as a member of the Delaware Stop Avello. I'm here to support and thank you, Representative Darby, for the resolution which urges the administration to prohibit municipal contracts with companies like Avello that support and the deportation operations. I am here because I choose to believe that everyone in this room, and I can feel it even virtually, that we're here because we care. We care about the communities and our own humanity. As a mental health therapist, I often sit with clients as young as 11 who are already struggling with so much more, to now be wrestling with the fear of family, friends, neighbors, community members being unlawfully detained and deported. They already have too much on their minds. How are they expected to learn, to grow, to heal? All of us, children included, have seen the cruel and inhumane treatment and abuse of our immigrant communities. You cannot CBT these thoughts and fears away or erase the damage being done. This impact will be generational, and we know what generational trauma does to communities. These community members are more than what they can do for us and what they can provide. They deserve respect, dignity, and due process, the bare minimum. In supporting this resolution, we are showing our immigrant communities that we will stand beside them, that we value justice, human rights, rather than convenience and profits over people. Doing nothing, remaining silent, will breed complicity. It strengthens those committing these heinous acts. And I want to ask, which side will we be on? The profiteers or the people? History will remember this. So I respectfully urge you to support this resolution to show that injustice will not be selected and that we will not be complicit. Thank you.
Thank you. And our final public speaker this evening is Jasmine Wood.
Sorry, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, council members. My name is Jasmine Wood, and I am a resident of Claymont, Delaware. I'm speaking today in favor of Councilmember Darby's resolution to prohibit municipal contracts with companies involved in immigration enforcement and deportation services. Governor Meyer has signed several bills keeping our law enforcement from contracting with DHS. This is a point of pride for Delawareans who stand for the fair treatment of all people, including our most vulnerable community members, who have been targeted and harassed by ICE. I'm heartbroken by the lawlessness and the cruelty we have seen from ICE, including the testimony of their inhumane treatment during transportation and detainment. Today, I speak in favor of the resolution to prohibit municipal contracts with companies involved in immigration enforcement and deportation operations, including Avelo Airlines. I stand with my community members who have been out on the streets protesting Avelo Airlines for the past several months. As a Delawarean, I would like to see the council represent our state's values of fairness and justice for all and refusing to do business with those who also do business with ICE. I urge the council to pass this resolution and set an example of integrity and community over profit. I do not want our money going towards businesses who are profiting from blatant cruelty and human trafficking. Let us keep our money where our values are. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, that does conclude our public comment. We want to thank everyone for your comments. As always, you are definitely welcome to join us every council meeting and also at our committee meetings for public comment and to give us your feedback and opinions. So, gracias por sus comentarios. This time, we're going to move to legislative business. Councilmember Owens.
Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 25-057, agenda number 0129, whereas the 2022-2025 Wilmington City Council Strategic Plan prioritizes a healthy Wilmington.
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by a yea-nay vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea or nay vote on the question.
Yes, Mr. President. So this is a continuation of an ongoing issue we have here in the city of Wilmington, and that is coming up with a strategic plan on how to morally deal with our unhoused community. This would create a subcommittee under the Health, Environmental, Aging, and Disabilities Committee. And again, this is all about making sure that we understand that homelessness isn't just a housing issue, it's a public health issue, it's a safety issue, but it's definitely a moral issue, and we have to lead with empathy, equity, and urgency here in the city of Wilmington. So this subcommittee will bring together 9 individuals who are diverse voices from community advocates, service providers, city council members, and residents who live here as well too, and those who have been impacted by being unhoused as well, to develop policies and recommendations for the city council to go forth a part of our strategic plan. I am open to answer any questions.
Councilmember Willauer.
Councilman Owens, I really appreciate you putting this resolution together and forming this subcommittee. I think it's a chance to build on the work that has been done, but there's so much more to be done. And I really appreciate how you've created this committee that's going to bring new voices to the table and come up with recommendations that we can move on. So I want to thank you again. And I think I already asked to be added as a co-sponsor, but I'm hoping that I can be added tonight.
All right, thank you, Councilmember excuse me, Oliver.
I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Councilmember Darby.
Yes, I would like to be added as a co-sponsor, and I think this subcommittee will be key and important. And I think a lot of times we have a task force who gives recommendations, and then after that they disperse. This allows for the conversation in the implementation process to have a group along that process to be able to provide feedback and that have the community a part of it. So I'm definitely in support.
Thank you. See no other hands raised. Return to the sponsor.
Nothing else, Mr. President.
Thank you. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman Owens?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Yes.
Councilman Hackett?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
President Congo?
Yes.
12 yeas and 1 absent.
Declared adopted.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the third and final reading.
Ordinance number 25-055, agenda number 0114, an ordinance to amend Chapter 37 of the City Code to prohibit the parking of tow trucks on city streets.
Mr. President, I move that this be known as the acting clause of the ordinance and call for the yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and called for a yea and nay vote on the question.
Yes, Mr. President. So again, this ordinance comes after many community conversations over the past few months with families who've been impacted by, a family member running into a tow truck, or residents in civic associations who've just been concerned about the tow trucks who have been parking overnight on the street. We already have something on the books to deal with commercial vehicles and recreational vehicles being parked long-term on the side of the street, but nothing to deal with tow trucks. So again, this ordinance would add tow trucks in to that range. Again, it's a classification over 11,000 pounds or 20 feet. Again, we've seen individuals park on the side of the street, especially on the North Market Street, where the edge of the truck is sticking out into the lane. It creates a safety hazard. Someone could crash into it. So again, my intention with this is, again, for the long-term parking to address that issue. And I could take any questions.
All right, thank you. Seeing no hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman Owens?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Yes.
Councilman Hackett?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
President Congo?
Yes.
12 yeas and 1 absent.
Declared adopted. Council Member Darby.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the third and final reading. Ordinance number 25-051, agenda number 0105. An ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to expand the qualifications of members of the Wilmington Community Police Accountability Board and increase compensation for board members. Mr. President, I have a substitute to present in lieu of that. Well, I'll do the amendment first. Yeah, I have a substitute to present in lieu of that ordinance. Substitute number 1 to ordinance number 25-051, revision 1 to agenda number 0105. An ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to rename the Wilmington Community Police Accountability Board, the Wilmington Citizens Review Board, expand board eligibility, and increase compensation for board members. Mr. President, I move that be known as the acting clause of the substitute ordinance and call for a yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second that be known as the enacting clause of the the ordinance and called for a yea and nay vote on the question.
Yes, so this piece of legislation does 3 things. One of the first things, it talks about the chair and vice chair for attendance for meetings being compensated a little bit more than other members due to the increase in volume of work for them. And it also expands the eligibility to who can be on the board, where people could either reside or work in the city. Oh, yeah. I have a floor amendment to present. This floor amendment amends substitute 1 to ordinance number 25-0520 to remove any reference to a name change of the Wilmington Community Police Accountability Board. Mr. President, I would like to make a motion for a floor amendment at this time. In the title, delete the title in its entirety and replace with the following title: an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to expand Wilmington Community Police Accountability Board member eligibility and increase compensation for board members. On page 1, 5th and 6th whereas clauses, strike both in their entirety. On page 2, delete the phrase Division 18, Wilmington Citizens Review Board. On page 3, synopsis, delete the first 2 sentences of the synopsis in their entirety and insert the following language. This ordinance amends Chapter 2 of the City Code to expand Wilmington Community Police Accountability Board member eligibility. The third sentence shall remain.
Second.
All right, it's been first and second for the floor amendment. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Amendment passed.
On the question still. Yeah, so this piece of that amendment was basically changing the name back to Wilmington Community Police Accountability Board. We had a meeting with the Wilmington Community Police Accountability Board members, and the decision was for them to keep the name that they had at that time. But this also expands the board member eligibility to where you don't just have to reside here, but you can also work here. But the majority of the board must be people who reside within the city of Wilmington limits. And then it also allows for the vice president and the president to get compensated more.
All right, thank you. Any questions from any council members? Councilmember Johnson.
This amendment, I believe, is definitely in line with our intent to essentially talk about what is done or what the board is doing and planning to do. Citizen Review Board was the old prior name. I think this more captivates what it does now. So I appreciate the board for reaching out to us, me and Councilmember Darby on this, and we look forward to these other changes being made as well.
Thank you. Councilmember McCoy.
Thank you. Thank you very much for changing the name back, because I did hear a few people who had concerns. But I just wanted to be clear, you stated that there is the majority of voting members from the board will be residents, so will the majority be just the 4?
The majority will be residents.
Okay, and it's out of the 7, I guess the majority would be 4. Okay.
All right, thank you. Any other comments from any council members? Turn to the sponsor. Any comments?
No comments.
Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman Owens, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby.
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley.
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Field.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy.
Yes.
Councilman Hackett.
Yes.
Councilman Spadola.
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
12 yeas and 1 absent.
Declared adopted.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the third and final reading.
Ordinance 25-056, agenda number 0115, an ordinance amending Chapter 42 of the City Code regarding the paving of privately controlled, non-dedicated alleys.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and call for a yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second, that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance, and called for a yea and nay vote on the question.
Yeah, so this ordinance has been, this piece of legislation has been something I've been working on for my first term and going into this term. In my first term, every budget hearing, I requested that a program is developed to pay for alleyways to be repaved. Currently, right now on our books, we have our existing program requires that property owners pay at least 60% of the estimated cost of the paving project, with the city contributing the remaining cost. And I know that for a fact, the majority of City of Wilmington blocks and neighbors and property owners are not able to come up with 60% of the cost to get an alleyway fixed. So this financial requirement has been a barrier for low-income residents to be able to get their alleyway fixed. And I know that I recognize that there's definitely a financial assistance need for property owners in low-income areas and historically underinvested for the paving of private alleyways. So I'm glad to hear and have been able to work with the administration on launching a current alleyway pilot program from one of my budget requests this past budget hearing, and being able to make sure that that launches. But we also know that this old law on the books does not allow for, especially our low-income neighbors, long-term to be able to get their alleyways fixed. And I know for a lot of places, alleyways bring crime. They bring people who are battling with substance use and mental health. So this piece of legislation is looking to hopefully allow for our alleyways to be addressed throughout our city.
All right, thank you. I'd like to recognize Councilwoman Cabrera. Councilman Johnson.
I definitely have some questions about this. I'm supportive of the pilot program, but I think I don't know the fiscal impact, and I think this is more appropriate. Again, I certainly support the effort, but more appropriate in our budget discussion for the full program, because the problem is if it's it has to be funded, and given the lack of federal funds we have coming in, I really, at least me, being the past finance chair, I definitely have some concerns. I don't know about the current finance chair, but it's definitely concerning if it's an unfunded program, because I can tell you right now there's a list of a lot of other programs we need, including enhancing our Partners for Care mental health program. That's what I'm getting time and time again, that we need more money for that. So, there's only a certain amount of money to move around. So I would definitely hope this can get us at least pause. Let's do the pilot and then have the finance chair weigh in, and we can implement this in next year's budget. I certainly will support it.
Thank you. Councilmember Harley.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I do want to sort of piggyback off of Councilmember Johnson regarding this legislation. First of all, I do agree and do support those neighborhoods that are considered quality census tracts getting the support. However, we do have a pilot program that we are implementing that we have already met and discussed how QCTs are automatically going to be included in the pilot. So since this is already in motion and in the pipeline, I would be more apt to say, let's move forward with the pilot, and hopefully some of the neighborhoods that are in mind for this work will be included. So I won't be supporting this legislation for that reason, because it's like duplicating efforts, and this particular legislation does not have a fiscal impact. So I want to be fiscally responsible by at least allowing us to implement the pilot first. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Field.
Yes, I would just say, so for one, the Commissioner of Public Works, I asked the Commissioner of Public Works for some feedback, because this issue has come up once or twice in the 8th District over the last couple of years. And the Commissioner sent some reasonable feedback, pointed to the pilot project, and that feedback was distributed to council. I would like to see, to request a pause on this ordinance tonight. To me, it doesn't seem like it has to be decisively settled tonight. I think we can get to shared end goals with some additional high quality discussions between council members and the administration. And yeah, that's my comment.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Cabrera.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I too celebrate the spirit of the legislation, as I get calls about alleyways all the time, and to say that it's a private space and that the residents have to pay for it Not every community can do that. Not every community can afford to do that. And even in my own neighborhood where there may be more affluency, there is still a challenge in neighbors coming together to fix those alleyways. This concern has been brought up to the previous administration, the current administration. I'm glad that there's a pilot program. I'm glad that they're doing something about it, and it's something they do want to implement. We have to look at the fiscal impact of things as we move forward. So I commend Councilmember Darby for bringing this forward, and I too echo the sentiments of my previous three council members that spoke, including Councilmember Field, in asking if we could, hold this and go forward with the pilot program, because it's not that we don't support the resolution and the ordinance and what we want to do with this. It's that there is a process, and at the same time, we have to be fiscally responsible. I believe that this will go forward and we can make an impact in all our communities. So I'm definitely in support of that. But I too would like to wait, to see if the sponsor would hold this so we can have further discussion, see how the pilot goes, and all of us be unanimously supportive of it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too support the spirit of this legislation. We've been talking about this for several years. Some other ones in leadership. But however, I would hope that Councilman Darby would just hold it, since we do have a pilot program, as they stated, so we're not duplicating nothing, and we probably can get more for a buck. And we've been talking about this for some years now, but the administration is trying to work with council members by even adding this into the budget, and they've never added it before. So I see us, trying to collaborate and work a win-win situation and work together. So I would hope that Councilman Darby will hold it. So after the pilot program, I think it's after a couple months, we can come back, because I work in the district I work for. We need alleyways done more than anybody, and I've been trying to get an private alleyway done over 11th Street Bridge for like 5 years. So I definitely support the legislation, but I don't want to step on nobody's toes after they're willing to work with us. So I just hope you will hold it until after the little pilot program. I think it's 6 to 8 months, and so we can come back and revisit it, and you'll have the support for it.
All right, thank you. Seeing no other hands raised, we turn to the sponsor.
Yes, no, thank you all for your comment and the being in support of the spirit of the legislation. So I have been in conversation with the administration in regards to the pilot program and the alleyway repair stuff. So I'm willing to hold it and continue those conversations.
All right, thank you. Let me continue.
Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 25-058, agenda number 0130. Whereas the Council of the City of Wilmington is dedicated to a transparent and well-represented Wilmington, ensuring that all its residents are treated with safety, dignity, and respect for their human rights, and recognizes that
I move this resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea or nay vote on the question.
Yes, so this piece of resolution is really urging the administration, city council, the entire city to really look at our contracts, and specifically in regards to Avelo Airlines, but also not limited to just Avelo Airlines, but with any company that collaborates with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, or profits from deportation-related activities, for us not to enter into any contracts with them. So I did speak to the administration specifically about Avelo and the two other publicly facing airlines that do that partner with ICE to see if we partner with them. I was told that there's no current contracts that the administration has set up with the Velo. And then another concern I wanted to bring up that someone had asked is like, if we do this targeting Velo or these companies, then why not all airlines? All airlines do deportation. Well, based off of research, only not all airlines have ICE contracts. Only a few that sell public tickets do, Avelo, Global X, and Eastern. The rest are private or charter-only companies. But what makes Avelo stand out is that one is down the street, and they chose to take the contract publicly, even though they market themselves as a community airline. And people are really boycotting them because of how they brand themselves as this local and family-friendly airline. So I think it's important that this local airline that we have, Avelo, that's right down the street, Wilmington, Newcastle, that we do the right thing as a city to make sure that we're not using public dollars to support what is happening with ICE. And we had all the comments out, so I don't really need to repeat what's happening in our country right now, how people are feeling, so that I hope that tonight I can have the support of my council colleagues to make sure that our legislative body and that also the rest of the city will not enter into contracts with anyone or any entity, but especially Avelo Airlines.
All right, Councilmember Johnson, followed by Councilmember Spadola.
First, I would like to be added as a co-sponsor, and second, I was just for the public's good. I wanted to give some historical context. The city has had a partnership with Avelo. I had to go even back in my memory bank, as I have a pretty good memory. I had to think, and I checked my emails. They did have a partnership arrangement back in fall of 2023 under their last administration. It was with the Human Resources Department. It was essentially, I think, supporting our wellness project, the Fall Wellness Initiative, where I guess it was a raffle, essentially giving city employees like a Velo flight. So again, I think we would urge the partnerships not to continue in the future. I think that was a one-time thing, but again, it's my understanding that they do not have contracts, and I would say it should include contracts and partnerships. But I commend Councilmember DARBY for bringing this to attention, because I think not only do we look at ICE, but cooperation from corporations and law firms, both locally and nationally, with what's going on. So I appreciate it, and in the next fight, we can continue to go on.
Thank you, Councilmember Spadola, followed by Councilmember Hartley.
Thank you, Council President. Please add me as a co-sponsor.
Thank you, Councilmember Hartley, followed by Councilmember Cabrera.
Yes, I would like to be added as a co-sponsor, and I just wanted to say that this was a no-brainer for me because I don't support deporting legal U.S. immigrants and actually Avelo making a profit by deporting people back to their countries. And what ICE is doing, I think is awful. So again, this was a no-brainer for me. And unfortunately, the CEO of the airlines, when they asked, why was he continuing to be in these particular negotiations, it's just merely about profits and money. So thanks for presenting this resolution, Councilmember Darby. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember Cabrera, followed by Councilmember Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too would like to be added as a co-sponsor. And I do want to add that while I was driving and I didn't get on the meeting during that time, I was able to listen to the public comments. So thank you to those who came to speak. Muchas gracias a todos los que vinieron a hablar esta noche sobre este tema, y estamos apoyándolos a ustedes, la comunidad. I'm thankful that the city does not have a current contract with Avelo and hope that we do not get into one. But as was just mentioned, it should not just be Avelo, it should be any company that supports the illegal way that they're doing this, violating people's human rights, separating families without due process. You know, it is not for us to solve the immigration problem. This is something that should have been handled by the federal government in a fair and just way. We're not going to see that happen. But what is happening in our country right now is is shameful. It's embarrassing. It makes me question the pride of being an American when we're supposed to be the greatest country and what we're currently doing to fellow human beings. Today, while I was doing an enrollment, I met a young woman. She showed me the video of her journey as she came here from Venezuela. She does have her documentation and has a protective asylum. She came with her 2-year-old child and her boyfriend. And as I watched the video, she said, we were on the Mexico train. Then she showed me the bosque, the woods, when they crossed the river and how they were out there camping out. I mean, I just wanted to cry, but her valor, her strength, and these are beautiful people. And she's here working at a packing company. These are hardworking people. And many of them come here to this country for relief of the persecutions, and our laws allow for that. So to be illegally doing what they're doing without due process is a horrible thing. Thank you, Councilmember Darby, for bringing this forth, and I'm very much supportive of this. Y mi comunidad saben que pueden contar conmigo, que los apoye, y vamos a luchar adelante. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Oliver.
No, I'd just like to be added as a co-sponsor. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilmember McCoy.
Just add me as a co-sponsor as well.
Thank you. See no other hands raised from any council members. I'll return back to the sponsor.
Yes, no, thank you. I'm so happy to hear that I had the majority of support from council people on this piece of legislation. It's important for our community. It's important for people to feel heard. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman Owens?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yes.
Councilman Hackett?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
President Congo?
Yes.
13 yeas.
Declare adopted.
Mr. President, may I be excused?
Yes, you may be excused, Councilmember Hackett. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Councilmember Oliver.
Yes. Mr. President, I have an ordinance present and call for a third and final reading.
Ordinance number 25-034, agenda number 0074. An ordinance to amend Chapter 36 of the City Code to prohibit resisting, impeding, or interfering with a city employee's official job duties.
Mr. President, Mr. President, I move this to be known enacting clause of the ordinance. Oh, my mic, I'm sorry. Mr. President, I move this be known for the enacting clause of the ordinance and call for a yea and nay vote.
Second.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. That be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance, and called for a yea or nay vote on the question.
Yes, Mr. President. This ordinance is being presented by City Council for review and approval. The ordinance combines Section 36-194 and 36-195 to reinforce that any impending city employees performing their official duties constitute a misdemeanor offense on Section 36-194, Section C. The conviction of this section shall be punishable by a fine not to exceed the amount of $1,000. And Mr. President, this came about due to a lot of our city employees, maybe the water meter, the PRIOs, et cetera. It has been brought to my attention that a lot of our city workers are being threatened, even punched in the face, throw water in their face for doing their job duties, and it's not fair. So some of their department heads asked me to put in this legislation. I think it's a good piece. People just come to work to do their job, not to be pushed, spit on, bullied, cursed out, just abused doing their job. So I think it's a good piece of legislation to at least put some standards for individuals who are just carrying on because they get a parking ticket and want to, chase somebody down the street with a gun or just throw bricks at them. It's just been an ongoing, a lot of violence with individuals who's doing their work. So I just want to like some support for this piece of legislation.
Thank you. Councilmember Cabrera, followed by Councilmember Spadola.
I would like to be added as a co-sponsor. I thank Councilmember Oliver because our city workers are public servants, as are we, and they have a hard job to do, and they're out there doing their job as we expect them to do their job. Otherwise than that, they would be fired. So in the course of doing their job, they shouldn't have to tolerate someone who is disgruntled or upset because they're out there doing their job. That's not fair, and people need to know that there's consequences for their actions. Thank you, Councilmember Oliver. I'm in full support of this, and I would like to be a sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Spadola, followed by Councilmember Johnson.
Thank you, Council President Congo. The incidents that Councilmember Oliver that was referring to, getting spit on, getting a brick thrown at you, that's already illegal. It's not like it's not illegal if you're a city employee before this ordinance. But more importantly, from the committee meeting, a lot of people, and I myself took issue with how it seemed to be targeting language, very undefined language, and specifically if you look at the letter B, it talks about abusive, indecent, profane, or vulgar language, which to me would be a First Amendment issue. And I thought she was going to take that out. I thought it was going to be amended. So if we could get some clarity on that, I would appreciate that.
All right, thank you. Do you want to respond to that now, Councilmember, or at the end?
I'll wait to the end.
Okay. Councilmember Johnson, followed by Councilmember Darby.
Yes, I'm a co-sponsor on this piece, and yes, my understanding was the intent to strike the subsection B. It would be line 4 to take out the profane and or vulgar language. So we can entertain a floor amendment at this time, or I guess it would be the sponsor, actually, the primary sponsor. But if it's not out of order, Council President, at this time, I would like to make a floor amendment to replace Ordinance 25-034 with an amended floor amendment of Ordinance 25-034. It would take subsection B on page 1, line 4, and strike the clauses of profane or vulgar language, and the rest would be left intact. At this time, I would like to make such a motion.
Second.
It's been first and second to make the floor amendment. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Amendment carried. Amendment passed. Councilmember Darby.
Yeah, I was going to ask questions about that piece too, but we took it out. My other question still is, if this happens to a city employee now, can't they just call the cops and won't the other person get in trouble, or is that not happening, or the police not responding when they're being physically attacked?
Councilmember Oliver, do you want to address that now?
Sure. Thank you.
Councilmember Oliver.
Well, in the past, the officer, no officers came. The individual had to go down to the police station, and when they went to court, no one from the law department or whatever didn't show up. So they had to go out on a 6-week leave. It's been a lot. So now, to my understanding, the law department is showing up, person's back to work, but they had to use their whole sick leave. And now, I think it's a certain code or whatever, the police should be coming. But I thought it was sad to hear that the police didn't come, right away for another city employee, when I thought that should have been an emergency like any other thing, but they're back to work now.
Can I follow up?
Yes.
Yeah, so when we pass this, what's different in the process? What, they don't call the cops now? Like who's enforced, like,
no,
it's still the cops, right?
Mr. President? May I
Yes,
respond?
Councilwoman Oliver.
No, because of what happened in the past to several of our employees, now the cops are responding as if they should have been from the beginning. So I don't know if it was, to my understanding, they was tied up with a shooting that day or whatever, but now they're taking priority to respond because they just responded the other day to an incident.
Got it. So this legislation, so currently right now, if I'm a city employee and someone is mad at me and they smack me and I call the cops are supposed to come, but this legislation is going to make cops come now?
They were already, Mr. President, I'm
Yes.
sorry. No, they were already supposed to come. Like I said, to my understanding, don't quote me, I wasn't there. It must have been a big incident that day that no officer came that day. But now this is enforcing, regardless, somebody is to show up or leave the incident or whatever and make sure they come and take care of one of our own city employees.
Okay. Yeah, I'm okay.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Johnson for your second round. Councilmember Spadola for your second round.
Just to clarify a few points from my understanding of how this works is, so there's already, this is essentially making city employees a protected class, similar to state of Delaware, I believe it was 4 years ago, added nurses and healthcare employees. So nurses, healthcare employees are now added. So, people who are working in Wilmington Hospital or St. Francis, they're protected. Same thing with police officers have always been protected. So what it is, it's another layer of protection, making them a special class. Is not, because actually in those other contexts, those employees most likely would be, I believe, felony, possibly for like a law enforcement officer. So it does not, right now, that yes, offensive touching, harassment, my understanding would cover these employees as any other employee, but I believe it's just adding a protective layer. So this was at the behest of HR. Essentially, I guess this would permit someone to be charged with, say, offensive touching, and then also for attacking a city official. So that's all. It's just to discourage the behavior that we're seeing by them knowing, hey, this is a more protected class. Because certainly I don't want to over penalize, but I think if this is a problem, just like nurses and law enforcement officers, we should address it. So that's the point.
Correct.
Councilmember Spadola.
Those comments were clarifying. I appreciate that, Councilmember Johnson. Yeah, I mean, I just want to Councilmember Oliver's point, if somebody's assaulted and a police officer doesn't show up, that's an internal affairs issue.
Correct.
In terms of why didn't the cop show up. But I understand what Councilmember Johnson's saying, and I will support it upon that, now that we got the First Amendment issue taken care of.
Councilmember Owens.
Yeah. I'm cool with the city employee official duties part of this. I do have just a quick, I guess, clarifying question about impeding an officer. So if an officer is making an arrest, right, and I think that officer is not making the right arrest, and I decide I want to film that officer, and I'm told by that officer that I cannot film them, I can't record what's going on, even though they have body cameras and everything now, would this constitute me getting a $1,000 fine for not listening to that command, since it says resisting or impeding or attempting to resist or impede their duties?
Mr. President, no. And remember, we're talking about city employees performing their official jobs. So the answer to that would be no. I hear what you're saying, but no.
Member Owens.
I think this also includes officers, though.
Right.
Right. So, again, if they're making a arrest of someone, and under my First Amendment rights, I have the right to record them, would me not listening to them saying stop, record them, would that result in me getting a $1,000 fine?
No.
Okay.
As I talked to the police about it, they shouldn't be telling people not to record them anyway. That's our constitutional right. Thank you.
Strike that language.
Councilmember Bracy.
Councilwoman Oliver or Councilman Johnson, should we strike that language? because it was stricken on, if you look at subsection 336-195, the resisting police officers or employees of the Department of Public Works was stricken. So should we, under section A and section B on the first page, just remove and intimidate or impede officers and just make it employees? Would that make it clearer? Because it's in here, it says officers, so we don't want to codify something that could be problematic for our police officers later.
Mr. President, I'd like to call for John to have clarity on this, please.
I'm not sure I'm prepared to answer any questions about it. I will, though, say that currently interfering with a enforcement officer in the enforcement of their duties is punishable by a fine. It was my understanding that this clarified any distinction between 195 and 196. However, I haven't read the full ordinance to answer the Councilman Owens' questions. I'd have to do a double check. To clarify another question, physically assaulting an officer, of course, would be punishable by, under the Delaware State Code, Title 11, assault generally. It was my understanding that this more specifically addressed some of the threatening behavior that some of our enforcement officers, license and inspections, and our parking enforcement officers do receive in the carrying out of their duties.
Okay.
I will say that there is currently a prosecution of a single founded assault against a parking enforcement officer. That was a verbal assault. There was a verbal threat made against a parking enforcement officer. That individual has been cited, and that is proceeding to trial. I don't have a trial date on that one yet. But when founded, when police have responded, and they have responded when necessary, but when the complaints have been founded, charges have been brought appropriately.
Thank you. That clarifies it for me.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions from any council members? If not, I will return it back to the sponsor.
Please call the roll.
Please call for the roll.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Owens?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
President Congo?
Yes.
12 yeas and 1 absent.
Declared adopted.
Thank you. Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the third and final reading.
Second.
Ordinance 25-035, agenda number 0075. An ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to require City Council approval of appointed board members of the Wilmington Neighborhood Conservancy Land Bank Corporation.
Mr. President, I move to be known for the enacting clause of the ordinance and call for a yea and nay vote.
Second.
Is there a floor amendment, council member?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. I have a floor amendment to ordinance number 25-035, agenda number 0075, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to require the City Council's approval of appointing board members of the Wilmington Neighborhood Conservative Land Bank. Description of the floor amendment. The floor amendment amends ordinance number 25-35 to clarify the appointing authority for local community and community groups. Mr. President, I would like to make a motion for a floor amendment at this time as such. On page 3, number 7, strike the phrase designated by the Board of Directors. Replace the language with appointed by the mayor. The phrase will now read appointed by the mayor and approved by resolution of City Council. On page 3, number A8, strike the phrase approved by resolution of City Council. The phrase will now read the individual designated by the Wilmington Neighborhood Planning Council Leadership Committee. And that is because we're going to let the community be the community on in that section. So council will not oversee that. We're going to let whatever the Wilmington Neighborhood Planning Council Leadership Committee pick where it's going to be. On page 3, B2, line 4, insert the word work after the word either. The phrase will now read must either work or live in the city in Wilmington. On page 5, synopsis, add the last sentence. And the local community and community groups are appointed by the mayor. Now the phrase will now read requiring city council to approve by resolution of appointed board members of the Land Bank Board of Directors and the local community and community groups are appointed by the mayor.
Second.
All right, we're going to take a vote on the floor amendment. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Floor amendment passed, has been adopted, so it's been properly moved in second. That be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and called for a yea or nay vote on the question.
Yes, Mr. President. I'm so glad that my colleagues approved the amendments. I think this is a great piece of legislation to show the community and the land bank that we would like some community engagement. That's all this piece of legislation states. I was disappointed that we had, individual calling around, talking, saying some things about this piece of legislation. And I thought it was so unnecessary because I am a council person and I have the right to put in legislation. And we can agree to disagree, but, I didn't like that. And you're no longer a council person and you shouldn't be doing that. We, as a body, a city council, we have put money into the land bank, and I think they do a very good job. But we as council members have the right to put in legislation to include the community, and that's all this was doing. Thank you so much. I had to get that off my chest. Thank you. I'd like to thank Nathan for constantly calling me, staying in touch with me regarding this piece of legislation also. So
Thank
with
you,
that,
Councilmember Johnson, followed by Councilmember Harley.
I would like to be added as a co-sponsor as well. I know I've talked to the sponsor and individuals who are engaged, currently serve on the land bank. And for me, as someone who has served on the land bank, this is a much needed reform. There's other issues I'm not going to go into today that need to continue to be worked on, but this is a great first step in allowing the community to be more engaged because it is a group for the community. And this is not unheard of. I mean, I just saw in the news last week, the mayor in Philadelphia and city council, they made significant changes to their land bank. So this is not unheard of. These entities aren't static. They're not something that just always remains. It's always meant to be dynamic and responsive to the community. So I appreciate the sponsor and looking forward to more reforms in this adventure.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Harley, followed by Councilmember Owens.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. I did a little bit of research on this, and most land bank boards have seats confirmed by city council, and so I don't see a risk with this at all. And I do think that there's an opportunity for individuals from the community to be confirmed by city council. So again, I don't see a risk. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Owens, followed by Councilmember Willauer.
Yes. First off, thank you, Councilwoman Oliver, for bringing this forward. I know we've been talking about the land bank for a very long time. It seems like my entire 11 months on this city council, we've talked about the land bank. I'm happy to see something moving forward. I think this is a good first step on how it should operate, to add another layer of transparency and accountability there. So I would like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you, Councilmember Willour, followed by Councilmember Field.
Thank you, Council President. I wanted to thank Councilwoman Oliver for bringing this forward. It restores oversight by City Council for the appointments that was in the original legislation. When Council created the land bank, it had this oversight, and at some point it was changed. So I'm really happy to see you putting it back. And I wanted to ask if I could be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you, Councilmember Field.
Yes, after careful study, I am supportive of this ordinance because I believe it will improve the long-term performance of the land bank. And 4 points I want to make. Number one, I think it's important for creating and maintaining long-term healthy equilibrium between the legislative branch and the executive branch. Number two, it brings Wilmington closer to a regional norm when it comes to appointment authority of a legislative branch. I did a couple of hours of research and was looking at land banks across the country. This is very consistent. One website that was very interesting is land banks in Pennsylvania, and there's 40 or 50 of them. There's a lot of information on it, and I read the founding ordinances of probably 24, and this ordinance is simply bringing Wilmington closer to that norm. Number three, it's only 4 seats. It's not saying that City Council gets to dictate the seats. It's simply saying that City Council gets to confirm, which means there is a back and forth between the legislative branch and the executive branch. And I do not see anything wrong with that. That being said, number 4, City Council members also have to do their job. And council members who are on the board by virtue of their position as head of a certain committee should be attending every meeting or find a replacement, and that has not been happening in the past. And so everybody has to be doing their job to improve the long-term performance of the land bank. And maybe that point specifically, if you can't attend the meeting or you don't want to attend the meetings, then you should be able to find somebody else on council to take your spot. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember DARBY, followed by Councilmember Harley.
Yes, I'm not sure if I was added as a co-sponsor, but I'm definitely in support of this. Early this year, when I started doing my research around the land bank, this is one of the things I talked about at several of the meetings and best practices that we're not in line with other people in our region in regards to how they operate their land bank. I did extensive research back in the beginning of the year and talked to many of the land banks and local council people in regards to how they operate. So this is like step one to really looking at reforming our land bank. There will be more in the future. So I'm happy that Councilmember Oliver was able to take the lead on this and to get this done. So I'm fully in support. Add me as a co-sponsor. And I think I like the idea of if someone can't attend, being able to appoint someone, but that's not in this piece of legislation. So I don't know if that's something we need to add later, that the person who sits on the board can also appoint a designee or someone in replace of them so that we are able to make sure all city council seats are filled on the land bank. And I also attended the last land bank meeting, which was 12 o'clock in the middle of the day, loose, barely promoted for anyone to attend. And before this passed, they did appoint people to their board. So they got ahead of you. But in the future, we'll be able to make sure that we have more say and authority in confirming and approving who is on the land bank. So thank you.
Councilmember Harley, followed by Councilmember Johnson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to remind everyone that it is a public meeting that anyone can attend. The only difference with the finance chair, the president, and the chairperson of CEDUP is that we're voting members, but I just wanted to remind everyone that they can attend and hear the same information that we're hearing. And I have been showing up and being vocal since I've been on the Land Bank board, and I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Johnson.
I just wanted to speak in probably on behalf of Council President. We've demanded for years that they change the times. I don't know how simpler I can do it. 12 o'clock news, 12 o'clock noon for working people, and me and President Congo run businesses. That's impossible. And at some points they did make it 8:30 in the morning, which is still very difficult for someone who's going to a business and traveling and even everyday public to be there. So we've demanded that it be in the evening. They still won't comply. So this is a serious problem I think we can address later on council. But they say, oh, the morning. Who can attend the morning? People working 2, 3 jobs, they can't attend in the morning at 8:30 in the morning. The public can't be engaged. But I think that's part of the problem. I know back when I was on it, even now, it's still the same thing, 12 o'clock noon, or they do 8:30 in the morning. Nobody's attending. If we did city council meetings at the time, nobody would attend. So it's just, it's a shame that this is happening and we can take further action. But that is, I just wanted to clear the record that we've demanded, both in writing and verbally, that they change the times. They will not change it to the evening so the public can come.
And virtual option.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilmember McCoy.
Thank you. I would like to be added as a co-sponsor, and I just want to state that I'm very glad that we're beginning to reform. This is something that I definitely was behind, rather than the dissolvement of the land bank, the reformation. So this is first step one, and it looks like it's going to be a good one, and I look forward to seeing what comes next between my colleagues.
Thank you, Councilmember Cabrera.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do want to clarify the comment that was made by Councilmember Johnson, and I completely understand where you're coming from in terms of availability. But when you have a board with the majority of the people and you take a vote on what time is the most convenient, that's the time that was come up with. But then when we heard your concerns and the council president and the times were changed to make them in the morning, and even if it wasn't the best time of the morning, that is when most of the people on that board felt that it was comfortable before they started their day. Neither you nor President Congo showed up to those morning meetings either, so they were changed back to at noon. Now, I'm happy as a board member and Councilmember Harley to bring up alternative times, maybe switching and alternating a morning meeting, an afternoon meeting, an evening meeting so that we can get more participation from the public. I understand if, for example, when I was working out of town, it is hard to attend a middle of the day meeting. I understand where you're coming from. So we're willing to work with you and with council and others and the public, but I don't think it's fair to state that you're going to demand that these meetings be changed, and they were changed, and then the people that demanded it didn't show up. So in all fairness, let's be clear and let's tell the whole story. And we do have a majority of those people there who are either chairs or directors of boards, and they carve that lunchtime because those meetings really don't last more than an hour, and they use their lunchtime to come to the meeting. That's convenient for them. I just wanted to state that for the record. Thank you.
Let's just vote.
Councilmember, I thought I saw another hand up. I guess I need to chime in now because my concern wasn't even really about me. It's about the public who never really had an opportunity to go to a meeting in the afternoon or in the morning. Like Councilmember Johnson said, it's not about us. It's about the public who we want to have more input. And having a meeting at 8:30 when most people are already on their way to work kind of defeats the purpose. Councilmember Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think somebody should put in a piece of legislation. I totally agree. Most of the people that's on the board, they're retired, so they can come lunchtime. So I didn't think that was nothing to really address. If y'all requested it, you requested it. It is about the public, and maybe put in a piece of legislation that 5 o'clock. I mean, it won't hurt when people get off of work, because I've heard it from other people who've been on the board that at that time it's a bad time because people that run businesses and have to go to work. And so I just wanted to make that statement. I disagree with my colleague, what she just said. But with that being said, I'd like to call for the vote.
Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman Owens,
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
12 yeas and 1 absent.
Declared adopted.
Thank you. Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
I'm so sorry, Mr. President. May I be excused?
Yes, you may be excused.
Sorry. Resolution 25-059, agenda number 0131. Whereas the Wilmington City Council 2022 to 2025 strategic plan prioritizes a stabilized Wilmington, the city's east side neighborhood has undergone extensive revitalizations in the past 5 years. And whereas there's an excess of 1,700 properties in the east side neighborhood,
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and finally adopted by yea, nay vote.
Second.
Okay.
It's been properly moved and second that the resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea or nay vote on the question.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution request is additional parking space and pest control from the 934 North Lombard Street, a demolition site, an old church on the east side. And with the new homes that were put up on Lombard Street, the 900 block of Lombard Street, under the past administration, I'm not going to get into the whole story, but they swapped some land with Mr. Reverend Kelly, and the church was supposed to be one thing. They presented to the community, and it was something else. So now the community and the seniors and residents in that area have new homes out there on that block, which really look good. They did a great job, but it is so condensed and it's tight. It's no parking out there. So Tom Ogden went down with me, the previous administration, and assured me that that church, he would provide some parking because the swap they didn't bring it to the community. They did it internally, and a lot of residents was very upset on the east side. So he said he didn't see a problem with it. So I just wanted to put it on record that the residents that live in that area between Lombard, East 9th Street, and 10th Street, or whoever's over there because of the new homes. Now you have new homes there. They have 2 cars each house, and you should see the people just walk in and don't have anywhere to park. So that's what this is about, just to ensure that that becomes a parking lot for the residents over the east side. Thank you.
Seeing no hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman Owens?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
President Congo?
Councilmember Darby is with us virtually.
Oh. Councilwoman Darby?
Yes.
President Congo?
Yes.
12 yeas and 1 absent.
Thank you.
Declared adopted.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance number 25-064, agenda number 0132. An ordinance to authorize and approve a network as a service agreement between the City of Wilmington and Delmarva Power and
Mr.
Light
President,
Company.
I move this be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to Public Works and Transportation Committee.
Second.
Excuse me. First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to authorize and approve a network as a service agreement between the City of Wilmington and Delmarva Power and Light Company.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move this be known for the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Public Works and Transportation Committee.
Second.
Thank you.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Public Works and Transportation Committee.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance number 25-065, agenda number 0133, an ordinance to amend Chapter 37 of the City Code to establish rules for the usage of low-speed motorized scooters and electric bicycles in the City of Wilmington.
Mr. President,
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 37 of the City Code to establish rules for the usage of low-speed motorized scooters and electric bicycles in the City of Wilmington.
Second reading of the ordinance.
I move this be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Public Works and Transportation Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Public Works and Transportation Committee.
That will be all.
Thank you, Councilmember Harley.
Oh, yes, Mr. President. I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance number 25-066, agenda number 0134, an ordinance to amend Chapter 44 of the City Code to provide a property tax exemption for low to moderate income long-term homeowners following a 100% or more property tax increase on their primary residence.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 44 of the City Code to provide a property tax exemption for low to moderate income long-term homeowners following a 100% or more property tax increase on their primary residence.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that it be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
That's what I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember McCoy.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the third and final reading.
Ordinance number 25-052, agenda number 0106, an ordinance to authorize and approve 2 one-year extensions of contract 26008 PD, police clothing, between the City of Wilmington and McDonald Uniforms Company, Inc.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and call for a yea and nay vote.
Is there a second? It's been properly moved and second that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and called for a yea or nay vote on the question.
My apologies. I haven't been here this late in a while.
And it is getting late.
Okay, I'm sorry. I said this ordinance authorizes the city to exercise 2 one-year extension options for contract 26008 PD for police clothing with McDonald's uniform. So there's the fiscal impact of this ordinance is the 2 one-year contract extensions at an estimated price of $110,749.40 per extension.
See no hands raised. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman Owens?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy? Yes. Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
And President Congo.
I have a question.
No.
But
During
this
the
might
vote?
be for the parliamentarian. Councilmember Bracy cast her vote, but she wasn't in her. She's in council chambers. Does that count?
She's in council chambers.
It counts. Okay. All right.
Excuse her.
Okay, all right, just wanted to make sure, yes. Okay, all right. My vote is also yes.
12 yeas and 1 absent.
Declared adopted.
All right, Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the third and final reading.
Ordinance number 25-059, agenda number 0119, an ordinance to approve the Anchorage Overlook Major Subdivision Plan and authorize the city to remove a segment of Anchorage Street from the official city map, improve a segment of Anchorage Street and name it Anchorage Street Extended, create a new street named Levi Lane, and accept the dedication of Anchorage Street Extended and Levi Lane as public rights-of-way and add them to the official city map.
Mr. President, I move that this be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and call for a yea nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and called for a yea or nay vote on the question.
Yes. So I'm actually pleased to finally start getting movement on this. This ordinance approves the Anchorage Overlook, which is a major subdivision plan, and authorizes the city to remove a portion of Anchorage Street from the official city map. Improve a portion of Anchorage Street and name it the Anchorage Street Extension. So what is actually going on? This area is in Browntown. It is where the old VFW was. This is a plan in order to develop that space for, I think it's about 38 homes. And we have been delayed for a bit, but it looks like we're finally getting movement again. So I'm very pleased to be able to start making progress by just getting the street named.
Councilmember Oliver.
Yes, I am happy to see Councilman McCoy finally getting this done. She's been talking about this for quite some time, and I'm glad that individuals are here to finally see this come to fruition. And I guess little Levi's not here tonight, but this is really good. Congratulations. Kudos to you. God, it's been ongoing for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah.
Seeing no other hands raised. Sponsor.
Okay. Yes, I do want to make certain, because I just said VFW, I want to make certain that people understand that this is not the NVF, which is another project I'm working on as well. Yeah, and they've both been in development for quite some time. But I just wanted to make certain that we had clarity.
Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman Owens?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy? Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
President Congo?
Yes.
11 yeas and 2 absent.
You gonna adopt
Declared
mine?
adopted.
All right, I think we all need a nap now. Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance number 25-067, agenda number 0135, an ordinance to authorize and approve an agreement between the City of Wilmington and Leads Online LLC for an integrated ballistic identification system.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to authorize and approve an agreement between the City of Wilmington and Leads Online LLC for an integrated ballistic identification system.
Second reading of the ordinance.
I move that this be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Public Safety Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Public Safety Committee.
All right, Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance number 25-068, agenda number 0139, an ordinance to amend Chapter 34 of the Wilmington City Code to authorize a voluntary rent escrow program.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 34 of the Wilmington City Code to authorize a voluntary rent escrow program.
Second reading of the ordinance.
I move that it be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember Johnson.
Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 25-060. Yes, 060, agenda number 0120. Whereas the 109th session of Wilmington City Council.
I move that this resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by a yea/nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second the resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea or nay vote on the question.
This is a housekeeping matter, essentially to add clarification to our committee rules. When we adopted our city council rules, we didn't it seemed to be the practice was voting items out of committee. That was the practice of council, at least I know since I've been on council. So it's just really squaring this with that so that, you know, things are ready to go to the floor. They get voted out of committee. So my time on council, I've never been known to be held up in committee. Even if you don't agree with the ordinance, it's been our standard practice to still pass something out. So that's really just squaring it with our custom and practice, and I can answer any questions, but this is, again, clarifying things because I believe there was a committee meeting about 2 months ago where this became a question. So I want to also, with the committee chairs, make sure there's clarity on their part as well as things move to the floor.
Councilmember Owens.
Yes, you mentioned a committee meeting 2 months ago, and I believe that meeting, if this was in place, that resolution or ordinance, whatever it was, would not have gotten to the full body to discuss, correct?
I'm not exactly sure that particular piece. I don't recall the vote count.
I think it was
That's
a tied vote, so it wouldn't have come to the floor. Is there an issue with having legislation debated by the full council?
No, I think the point is it needs to be voted on by the full council. It's just really clarifying. Again, it's been my custom that 99% of things get to the floor. So I don't know why it would be a problem with something not getting to the floor.
Councilmember Owens, you good? Councilmember Bracy, followed by Councilmember Darby.
Thank you. So I can see both sides of this, but from my perspective, it takes away. So the way it's always been is something goes to a committee, and it's voted out of committee. If we're not voting it out of committee, it takes away the whole purpose of the committees. The committees is where you vet the legislation, and before it gets to the floor. And if for whatever reason it's voted down, then it doesn't leave committee. But that's the purpose. That's the legislative process, and it's always been that way. The rules were written as the rules stand right now. In one spot in our rules, it says voted out, and in another spot, it says it may. So this is simply fixing what should have never been in the first place when we voted on the rules in January. I support this because I think that's part of the purpose of the committees is to vet legislation. So that's where you hold it. If it's not going to be voted out of committee, that's the time you hold it and work on it and keep it going until you're ready for it to come to the floor. So by the time it gets to the floor, you've gone through all of your due diligence and it's been vetted. And if, I have been here when things have, I think since I've been here, I've maybe once or maybe twice where something died in committee. But I think that's the purpose of the committees, and it takes away the whole purpose of having committee meetings. It's not just to sit around and have a conversation. It's really for us to do the due diligence, and that's the strength of the committees and the committee process.
Thank you, Councilmember McCoy.
Okay. Yes, I just wanted to piggyback off of what Councilman Bracy stated. As a committee chair, you want to make certain that you do have, some say about how things are actually going within the committee. And because of the fact that, all right, let's take, for instance, my last committee meeting. Luckily, my colleague decided that she was going to hold her piece of legislation until she got it correct. We actually went over that piece of legislation that we just talked about when it came to protecting the employees of the city of Wilmington. We went over that several times, but because of the fact that you took enough care and you allow someone to tell you maybe you should hold it and get it put back together, I had no command over that as the committee chair. I couldn't say, you need to hold this until you get it figured out. It was up to her to make that decision. So basically, we could have got some frazzled thing actually come to the floor, and it would have just stood as it was. So I just felt that, by putting it back the way that it was, I definitely would support it.
All right, I'll give my opinion. This was actually one of my rules that I wanted to be implemented during this session, because I've been a part of sessions where there was so much jockeying on who was going to be on certain committees, just in order to control the legislation. I just thought it was extremely unfair that the full body of council sometimes would not have opportunities to vote on legislation. So I just thought that it was our responsibility to talk about it, to vet it, for the community to come to the committee meetings and we could have their input. Like you just said, if there's a problem, we would have to have faith in that sponsor to hold the legislation. But I just saw so many instances where committees were strategically implemented in order to control and hold or put forward mainly to control legislation. And I just thought it did a disservice to the rest of us on council. And we're here to vote on legislation. We want to get it right, of course, and I think it's up to that sponsor to make sure it's right before it does move forward. But I just think that it in the past it did a real disservice to a lot of us on council who weren't on those committees and had no ability to vote or to make sure that the public saw how we what our opinion was on that piece of legislation. So I mean, we'll go with the will of council. I just hope that moving forward, that we're fair and that we don't try to control legislation that really needs to be in front of all of council. Councilmember Johnson.
I appreciate the sentiments, Council President. Again, I share in your same vision. I know we've met on this. We were on previous councils. There was a lot of stuff that happened on previous councils. And people with personal attacks and stuff we would find on the floor. We had some wild nights, even attacking the council president. That's happened before. But I would say 109, and we really got it right. And I commend you, Council President. You made the committees very fair, even. You have old, you have young. I believe it's fair and balanced. So I don't see that committee stacking as being, for 109, something that would be present. And I do, again, encourage my colleagues that this is a process. We have fair committees, and it's a credit to, the strength of the committee chairs, to run a good meeting, to make sure stuff is legally sound when it goes there. I did the same when I was chair. Like Council Member McCoy said, help your colleagues out. I know when I chair committees, I never had a bad piece go forward. I always reach out to the sponsor. So I appreciate everyone's sentiments. I would encourage your support for this. Thank you.
Councilmember Harley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to say that I can see both sides, starting with you and what you had to share. I share the same sentiments in terms of the previous council. I do think a lot of that, what you mentioned, was going on. However, with this 109, I do believe that one of the benefits of this is to force the sponsors of legislation to really vet their legislation and get it to where it should be, because a lot of legislation gets on the floor that I really think that if it was handled in a committee properly, that by the time a lot of this legislation get on the floor, that it will be well put together, vetted properly, and have all the information in it that is needed, so we can just vote on it and keep going instead of some of it getting held and not being vetted properly. So again, I do see your side of what you shared, but I also haven't seen as much of what was going on in the previous sessions in the 109. So that's why I'm going to support it.
Thank you. And seeing no other hands raised, Councilmember Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to echo what my council member said. But what I've noticed is what Councilman Hardy said. So we have all this stuff that comes on the floor, but it's not being vented out properly at the committee meeting, because a lot of people just saying, well, it's going to go through, and then we end up having a committee meeting at the council meeting. And just as you said, I think in 109 we should do, I think we'd do better. But I see both sides. But then if it all just comes here, I see the conversation just going on, and I'm saying to myself, well, this should have been in a committee meeting. So for that, I will be, supporting this, and hopefully we will do, as the president stated, let's do the committee meeting, say what we have to say, vent it out in there, and move on. But to have a council meeting where this is the chambers and we having repeating committee meetings, I mean, I don't mind. I don't have too much going on, but I just look at some of the staff sometimes and say, wow, I think we could do a little better. So for that reason, I'll be supporting this piece of legislation.
Councilmember Owens.
Yeah. I just want to take us back to a few, maybe like 10 pieces of legislation ago. At this point, when we talked about the land bank and about them having their public meetings to allow the public to be engaged, in my mind, that is where the committees come into play, right? It gives the opportunity for the community to have input on what is going on, what we're going to be voting on as their city. And again, my next comment, y'all know I love each and every one of y'all, so hopefully y'all don't take offense to this, because I'm also included in this. We're all very long-winded. Like, we talk way too much. I say that with love, y'all. But that is one of the things that I think makes these meetings so much longer, because we have to comment. Even though we know we're voting yes, you still got to use your 5 minutes. That's what makes these meetings long, not the fact that we have to vote on so many pieces of things. We can move this legislation very fast. I think the committee process is still an opportunity for the community to engage. But for this piece of legislation here, I will not be supporting it. Again, it's nothing against anyone. I just think that, all legislation should get a fair shot to be debated by the whole council. And this is the setting in which we debate things. It's the committee in which we can bring in the community, bring in the experts, the expert witnesses to testify as well, too, in depth about why a certain policy is being introduced or something. So that's my comments. And I guess this is a point of, clarity to the parliamentarian. Since this is a council rule change, does this need 9 votes?
Yes, you may.
So per Rule 23, the rules are effective immediately. The rules may not be altered or amended unless a motion to do so is presented in a resolution form passed by 2/3 majority of the members of council present at an official meeting of the city council. By my count, there's currently 12 members present. That means the vote requires 8 people. So 8 affirmative votes. A vote of present is essentially a no.
Thank you. Councilmember Darby.
Hello, yes. I would like to just make a quick comment. I don't want to repeat anything that anyone said, but I won't be supporting it either. I know for a fact that like my rent stabilization legislation and other things that I had would have never gone forward. Slightly one because of just politics. And I know there's people who just don't like me, who don't vote for my stuff just because they don't like me. So I won't be supporting it because then it wouldn't be good for my what I need to do in regards to the legislation. Because some of y'all won't just let my stuff through because y'all don't like me. So, and I'm fine with that. I really don't care. But so I won't be supporting it.
All right, thank you. Sponsor, any final comment?
This is again to reiterate. Needs to be squared out because if this does not pass, we still have a very gray legal area. So I think that's the issue, and why working with the law department, we have to add clarity because right now it says a may section and then it says will. So the two don't square up, as my colleague, Councilmember Bracy said. So again, this is I think trusting in all of us, and we've had a year to essentially see how we all work together. And I would say, the report card looks pretty good. And we're getting a lot of work done. And credit to all of us for being civil and working through. And the point is, committee meetings need to have order. And so I think they need to be vetted. Things need to hit the floor when they're ready. So with that, I'll ask for a roll call.
Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman Owens?
No.
Councilwoman Darby?
No.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer?
No.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
No.
President Congo?
No.
7 yeas, 5 nays, and 1 absent.
Declared defeated.
All right. And Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 25-061, agenda number 0121. Whereas committee of the whole meetings are useful in having city council meet to discuss issues, and whereas attending monthly.
At this time, Mr. President, I move the resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by a yea-nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea-nay vote on the question.
This is essentially, again, it's another housekeeping matter, trying to really narrow in the amount of meetings we have. There has been a committee of the whole monthly, but with the amount of committees, subcommittees we have, and in addition to the intergovernmental committee, the idea was that, committee of the whole meetings would be on a quarterly basis and not a monthly basis. Again, this is just adding to the order. We just created another subcommittee tonight. And to be fair, both to the public and honestly the staff, this is we want meetings well attended, and we want council members to even be there, and we have to be mindful of that. Yes, it's full-time hours, but most of us aren't retired. So when you have 10 different committee meetings during a month, 12. It's just an extra meeting. And I know committee of the whole meetings have not even had a quorum a lot of times. So I'm just being realistic to, us making it quarterly and not monthly. I may get pushbacks. Some members might not like it, but, these meetings aren't even getting quorum. So I'm just keeping the facts. And I think making it quarterly, would be better. The regular committee meetings, now that we'll vet everything, I think that's the process we should have going forward.
Councilmember Darby, followed by Councilmember Spadola.
Hello, yes. So I am not in support of this piece of legislation. I support committee of the whole meetings happen and monthly. I think it provides a space for things that don't fit or conversations that we can't have on other committees to happen on the committee of the whole. There have been some great conversations over this city council this term in our first year that happened at the committee of the whole meeting. City council members can attend in person and virtual. So you have 2 different options to hop on to the meeting to be able to listen to the discussion And every single council person, all 13 of us, can take advantage of the committee of the whole, and you can put whatever topic that you want on there that doesn't fit onto the other committees. Or let's say your committee passed and the committee of the whole is coming, you're able to say, okay, I want to have a discussion about this particular topic. So I think that we as a council haven't been creative and thoughtful enough to how we want to use the committee of the whole meeting in regards to being able to have engagement. The community loves the committee of the whole meetings. So when the comment was made about the community is unfair, they love to come to the committee of the whole meetings and talk about the different conversations they have, and being able to have a space outside of city council where they can engage with us around different topics and different issues. So I am not in support of this piece of legislation on making it quarterly. Quarterly is too spaced out. We already are off in already December. We're about to have a break, and we feel like we just came back from summer. And then after that, we have the budget hearing, and the budget hearings, we really don't have committee meetings. So I'm not in support of it.
Thank you, Councilmember Spadola.
Thank you, Council President. I agree with Councilmember Johnson's sentiments entirely on this one. And if you look at the last session, our committee of the whole meetings were done very sparingly. They were big, weighty, important topics where they were a big personnel hire or we were filling a vacancy. Now it's just run-of-the-mill, like Councilmember Darby said, whatever you want to talk about. And there's a cost to staff time. I think they're confusing to the public in the sense that, you know, we've had committee of the whole meetings that has had stuff on the agenda, and it's also been on committee agendas. So, I mean, these committee of the whole meetings are the definition of talk, no action, and I think we have to be cognizant that we can't just overwhelm the public with meetings. Let's make it worth their time and have stuff to talk about and act on it, not just talk about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember McCoy.
Thank you. I do agree. I do believe that we need to make certain that we're not basically dragging the public through a meeting that frequently. Besides our regular meetings that we have to have, council and all of the different committees, and then everything that we have to do outside of the, with all of the different meetings with communities, MPC and all those different things, adding another meeting, and if it's not for anything pertinent, like really something that we have to make a decision on, just a conversation. Honestly, when I made mention to our staff that I really wanted to start seeing committee of the wholes, it was more so just to have something more like a caucus, just to, occasionally have that conversation that we may need to be able to have that space that more than three of us can sit down and just have a conversation. But it never was my intention to be doing this on a monthly basis. So it was more so to be allowed to freely sit and, be in a space, even if we were at a round table talking to one another, and allow people to have come in. But it never was supposed to be in that whole committee forum that we have pretty much, how many times? 6, almost 7 times a month. And then we added again. So it's like, no, I do think that it's a bit much. And I will be supporting this resolution.
Councilmember Willauer, followed by Councilmember Owens.
Thank you, Council President. I like the idea of roundtable committee of the whole meetings. I think there are things that we need to talk about, and it's very difficult just by the way we are kind of kept on we're not supposed to meet more than 2 people, are not supposed to talk about anything without having it be a public meeting. So my vision for the committee of the whole meetings is to have it be more of a roundtable discussion where we can talk about things as a group. And I don't think that this legislation is necessary because it doesn't require us to meet all the time. It just says that we can. And this legislation limits the flexibility. So I just feel if we don't like to have the meetings, we shouldn't schedule them. But we should have more opportunities to talk together as a group. And we shouldn't lose that by voting down committees of the whole. So I'm going to not be supporting this legislation.
Thank you, Councilmember Owens.
Yes. Again, I attend most of the committee meetings, even the ones I'm not on. I know for committee of the wholes, it's only 3 council members constitute a quorum. My only issue with this is that the language makes it very strict that we can only do these every 3 months. If something was to come up in between, would you be open to amending it to allow us that flexibility to call a committee of the whole meeting?
Is that for me? Is that for me, Councilmember Owens?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Are you finished? Yeah. All right, I'll chime in quickly. I won't be supporting this legislation because, again, like Councilmember Willauer just mentioned, like we don't have the ability to talk. We can't caucus without inviting the public. It's, you know, Dover can, but we can't. So if we want to discuss anything that the community is concerned about, that we're concerned about, and if there's not a committee meeting to address it, like that's the committee of the whole meeting is the opportunity to address it, and it only happens maybe 10 times a year. I just think the more that we can talk about things, and it's not a requirement for anyone to be here. So okay, if you can't make it, we understand, but I wouldn't want to limit our ability to talk to each other and involve the community. I don't think that we're dragging the community here. I think that we invite them and they show up because they're interested in what we want to talk about. So I don't think that we should limit that. So I can't support this. I do hear where you're coming from, Councilmember Johnson, but I just don't think that we should limit our ability to talk to each other because we can't do it like we would want to without breaking any laws. So I won't be supporting it. Councilmember Spadola.
Thank you. Just a question, and at any time, regardless of this passes or not, any 7 members can call a special meeting.
Yes, that's correct.
So there's no limitation even if this passes.
Councilmember Darby. I'm sorry. Will you finish, Councilmember?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Councilmember Darby.
And I also want to confirm that if this doesn't pass or this was never presented, if we don't want to have a committee of the whole, we just don't have a committee of the whole.
Yes, that's very true.
It's not mandatory, right?
Right. If there's nothing for us to talk about, we just don't have a meeting. But if there is something that a council member wants to talk about, that gives us the ability to talk about it. Councilmember McCoy?
Yes, so I would like to be able to find out exactly what qualifies as something that is a mandate that we need to have a committee of the whole meeting. Not a piece of legislation. Like, is there topics, like, it seems though there have been times that it seems though the things that we are discussing are not something that has to be talked about at that very last, whatever. I think it's like last Wednesday or something of the month, whatever day we was putting it on. Explain to me how does something deem it necessary to have a committee of the whole meeting that on a monthly basis? What is that?
I think that's up to each individual council member. If they feel that it's something that the community wants to talk about, or if they feel that's something that we need to talk about as a council, that's when there would be an agenda item on the committee of the whole meeting. But if not, we just wouldn't have it. Yes, Councilmember Bracy.
Thank you, Mr. President. So my only concern is that I agree with the concept that we need to have opportunities to talk. And whether this passes or not, we still will have them because we have the chance to, as long as 7 come together, the president can call a meeting anytime he wants based on our rules. So we still will have plenty of opportunities to talk. My concern is the current attendance at these committee of the whole meetings is what, 3 council members, maybe 4. We're not the intended outcome isn't happening because council members aren't showing up. And so if the idea is for us to be able to get together to talk, if we're not coming, then it's the same 3 or 4 that are coming, then we're still not doing what is intended. So I am in favor of the more robust, when we call a committee a whole, that should be, there's something that we're coming together for a reason. and it's usually something major that we need to discuss. These meetings where it's like 3 or 4 council members, that's defeating the purpose of, if we're going to do it, let's do it. But if if it's the same 2 or 3 showing up, you don't need 3 to have the meeting, and then you've got 5 staff members and WITN here for 3 council members. Like, that's something we could do upstairs on the 9th floor in the conference room and do Zoom. So I just think that, we need to really think about this. Like, if we're going to do it, then we need to be committing to actually being participants, because otherwise there's 13 of us. And if it's just 3 people using this, then are we really getting the result that we're looking for?
All right, thank you. Any other comments, questions from any council members? If not, Council Member Johnson.
Yes, I appreciate all my colleagues chiming in, and to suffice to say, I think we all have different viewpoints of this. But the intent working with my colleagues who support this is to just, again, let's focus our attention. At the end of the day, we're in the seats to get results. We're not in the seats to talk in committee meetings. We're not in the seats to just talk. Talk. We talk all the time. That's a lot of talking, but we need actually to put legislation into action. So I do agree the quorum problem, or the not be on the caucus, is a big problem. We still got to address that. I know Councilmember Owens is working on that as well. That's something we can address in the General Assembly, but I don't think we should just throw in extra meetings to do it. I think intergovernmental, as we just saw the other night, that well-attended meeting, and kudos to Chairwoman DARBY on addressing a serious issue. So I actually see intergovernmental really as that kind of miscellaneous committee. And with that, I will request a roll call vote.
All right, thank you. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman Owens?
No.
Councilwoman Darby?
No.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer?
No.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
President Congo?
Excuse me, no.
8 yeas, 4 nays, and 1 absent.
Declared adopted. Councilmember Bracy.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading. Oh, wait. Yep.
Ordinance number 25-069, agenda number 0138. An ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to require that all legislation include a fiscal impact statement prepared by the Office of Management and Budget.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to require that all legislation include a fiscal impact statement prepared by the Office of Management and Budget.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second, that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance, and referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the third and final reading.
Ordinance number 25-062, agenda number 0127, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to repeal the defunct Wilmington Advisory Commission on Youth and Their Families and to establish the Wilmington Youth Advisory Council under the auspices of City Council.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and call for the yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second, that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance, and called for a yea or nay vote on the question.
Mr. President, I have a floor amendment. Should I make that now? Mr. President, I would like to make a motion for a floor amendment at this time as such. This is strictly to correct a couple of things. In the title, strike the phrase to repeal the defunct Wilmington Advisory Commission on Youth and Their Families, and then on page 2, 6 whereas clause, strike the phrase to repeal Wilmington Youth Leadership Commission as it is defunct. and add in the phrase "under the auspices of City Council" after the phrase "Wilmington Youth Advisory Council." On pages 2-4, delete section 1 in its entirety. And on page 4, rename section 2 as section 1. On page 5, rename section 3 as section 2. And on page 6, the synopsis, delete the last sentence. The ordinance also eliminates the Wilmington Youth Leadership Commission under the Department of Parks and Recreation, as this commission has been defunct since 2019. After talking to the administration, we agreed that, and they actually came to the committee meeting, we agreed that we would like to keep the Wilmington Youth Leadership Commission codified, just in case in the future we want to bring it back. Thank you.
All right. Just like to excuse Councilmember Darby. So we're going to take a vote on the amendment. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Amendment passed.
Thank you. So back on the ordinance. In our strategic plan, in Wilmington City Council strategic plan for probably at least the last, I want to say 2 sessions, there has been a section to create a youth master plan, and no action was ever taken on that. Under a previous council president, the Wilmington, let me get the title right. Under the previous, the former city council president, the Wilmington Advisory Commission on Youth and Their Families was created, and it operated under Parks and Recreation for a time, and then post-COVID, it was never revived. So what Councilman Owens and I have been working on for pretty much the majority of this year has been to explore what it would look like to, one, create that youth master plan, and to create a youth leadership council that would work with city council to kind of guide that plan. So instead of us coming up what we think the youth care about or are interested in, it would be us working it over a 6-month period with youth throughout every district in the city to come up with our strategic plan to present to both city council and the administration at the end of June 2026. These kids would meet no more than 6 times, and we would pay them for those meetings. So that is kind of what, and I will defer to Councilman Owens for other comments, but the idea is once we have an actual plan in working with our youth and Parks and Rec and having council members come out and engage with the youth, then we're able to put something in writing to say, here's what city council is going to do for the city's youth. Here's what we think the Department of Parks and Rec and the administration should be doing. And the kids have been very vocal. We met with about 20 youth that are working with Parks and Rec now on their youth leadership program over the summer. And within, I want to say, a half an hour, we had like a list of 20 things that the kids said they wanted to see. And it wasn't just about having more fun. It was about the parks aren't clean. I can't walk to school because there's drug addicts. I can't, my street is dirty. We want to do community service, but we don't know how. So a lot of the kids, they have ideas. And so this would be an opportunity for us as a council to communicate with them and to really hear from the kids, and then have a big event at the end where we have presented a plan based on what they're providing to us. So hopefully I can get all of your support. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Field also asked to be excused. Councilmember Oliver.
Yes. So what is the fiscal impact on this? And the reason, it just it sounds good, but I know the Teen Warehouse does it and other organizations, but they have a board behind them that has a whole lot of money. So I'm wondering, what is the fiscal impact that expected on this? Do you have any?
It's $15,000.
That's $15,000 per session or whatever? I
The,
mean,
the entire, for the entire 6-month program, it's $15,000. So each child will be paid $50 for attending the entirety. And so it won't exceed more than $600 per student that participates with us.
You okay, Councilmember Oliver? Any
Yeah, that's-
follow-up?
I just wanted to know.
Councilmember McCoy?
Yes, can I please be added as a co-sponsor?
Councilmember Owens?
First off, Councilwoman Bracy, thank you for allowing me to work with you on this. It's been a pleasure. Councilwoman Bracy covered most of the stuff that we've gone through here. Again, I think this is going to be key going forward for City Council, especially with up the point in here of them collaborating with the Office of Educational Advocacy as well, too. They know what they need in their classrooms as well, too. So again, I look forward to this being established. We worked very hard on this. And again, we wanted to make sure everyone had at least 2 seats from each district represented on this. So again, hopefully everyone can support this.
Thank you, Councilmember Cabrera.
Yes, I would like to be added as a co-sponsor. I was on the session when the Youth Leadership Council began, and I had an opportunity to interact with the youth. And those relationships that were created were meaningful. I had shared at the committee meeting that one of those youth council participants had stayed in touch with me throughout the years. I've helped her with her health insurance. I was quite surprised and quite honored and humbled when she invited me to her wedding most recently. And
Point of order.
December. So I think that this is a great initiative, and we should definitely support it and keep it moving forward. Good job, both of you.
Thank you. I'd also like to be added as a co-sponsor. Thank you. Any other comments from any council members? If not, return back to the sponsor, please.
You call for the vote. Thank you, Mr. President.
Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman Owens?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
yes, I mean, if I think I wanted to say I was going to be added as a co-sponsor, but my coworker wouldn't stop. So.
Right.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
President Congo?
Yes.
10 yeas and 3 absent.
Declared adopted. Councilmember Cabrera.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 25-070, agenda number 0136. An ordinance to authorize and approve 4 one-year extensions of a professional services agreement between the City of Wilmington and Northeast and Bucks Company.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to authorize and approve 4 one-year extensions of a professional services agreement between the City of Wilmington and Northeast and Bucks Company and Longeran Associates, Inc.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee. Councilmember Spadola.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 25-071, agenda number 0137. An ordinance to amend Chapter 48 of the City Code to require the Zoning Board of Adjustment to notify at-large council members of pending hearings.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 48 of the City Code to require the Zoning Board of Adjustment to notify at-large council members of pending hearings.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
And the Planning Commission. Sorry. And Planning Commission.
Planning Commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and second, that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the City Planning Commission and the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee. This time we will move to petitions and communications. Councilmember Owens.
Nothing tonight, Mr. President. Let's go on.
Council President, request to be excused.
Yes, you may be excused, Councilmember.
Mr. President, may I be excused?
We almost there, y'all.
Yes, you may be excused, Councilmember
I don't
Oliver.
have nothing to say.
Councilmember Harley.
Nothing.
Councilmember Wallauer.
Nothing tonight, Mr. President.
I move to suspend.
Councilmember McCoy. Councilmember Johnson.
No items tonight, Mr. President.
Councilmember Bracy.
I move to suspend petitions.
Second.
I second.
Second.
So moved.
Aye.
I'd like to accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to adjourn. All in favor signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Yell it aye.
Yo, you didn't ask me
Mo-
for my petitions
motion-
for communication.
Okay, cut the mic.
Motion
We
carried.
move. We cut it off.
Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.